All right, greetings, family. This is Bomani Tyehimba, and I'm here with Kala Genesis, and we're here to talk about the Liberia Reconnection and Investment Tours, July 20th to the 30th, 2023. Let's build back up our repatriation homeland, 200-year anniversary of Liberia Repatriation Settlement, 1822 to 2022. So, greetings, my brother Kala. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Always wanted to love discussing Africa and particularly Liberia.
Well, perfect. So, family, that's what we're doing, family, and we're putting the foundation in for us to push this Liberia reconnection journey next year. So we're building everything up from the ground up. I mean, doing all of the research and everything. And our good brother Kala Genesis is literally an expert on Liberia, and he always break the information down to the key points. And the main thing that we're looking to do is literally organize ourselves that way we have more African countries available for us to reconnect to. So some of the other popular countries that people are talking about as far as repatriation to is Tanzania, Ghana, the Gambia, Sierra Leone. Yeah. So and then there's a few other countries, but our goal as a people is to build at least 10 countries as far as our interests from the African diaspora. So when this situation where we need to just literally find find options outside of the African diaspora, especially outside of America, will have these things in place. So I'm telling people, family, let's not wait till the last minute to work on all of these countries and things like that. The more we can put the energy into this, the more we can make these moves. Because we're talking about land. That's one of the main and most important thing that we have when we are connecting to Africa. We're not going to get that kind of land in America to build, and we're not going to be able to do the things that we need to build. And when we talk about literally building Black power and African nation building, you're talking about the foundation of land and the foundation of being in your own country where we can focus on these things. And so Liberia is a great option. And you know, we always talk about you know, all these other things about going to Europe and concentrating on some of these countries, but we have to literally think about it, family. If we put all the energy together and rebuild some of the countries that we have in Africa and refocus on it, we can literally just have something beautiful set in place. Because if we don't make these moves, family, I'm telling you, the Chinese, the Indians, the Lebanese, they're all over the continent and other groups too. So that's one of the main point we're coming at. So when we're telling you, if you're out there and you're thinking about this, making moves to certain African countries, be that pioneer, because that's what we're doing. Everything that we're doing and we've been doing is pioneer work. So yes, my brother Kala, let me know if you have some points to share before we get into this flyer that we have as the
Oh,
thumbnail.
no, okay, go ahead with the flyer. I'll interject. Go
All right,
ahead.
perfect. All right, so that is a nice view of the flyer. Can you see it?
Yep, perfect.
All right, so family, we have all the details on our website at africafortheafricans.org. So once you get on the website, go to the main menu, and then you're gonna click on Liberia Reconnection and Investment Tour, July 2023, and you're gonna see a tour overview that's gonna give you the full overview, and you're gonna see visa details. We're gonna put more articles in place, and we're gonna put together the nice full itinerary. Right now, I'm still working on the itinerary, still putting things together. So when we're talking about building this from the ground up, that's exactly what we're doing. So we'll be able to put more things in place a little by little. All right. So this journey is set for literally 10 days, or what you'll have is about 9 full days in the country. So, Kala, any specific things that you see highlighted that you want to talk about?
Yeah, Robertsport, untapped place. I mean, it's like a paradise, you know. And also, what I would like to talk about is each place has its history, and also, and people need to understand something very about Liberia, right? Other than other African countries, and Freetown too. You know, black people in America, right? Those of us who are in the Pan African world, we know this. We know this history. But there's a lot of people when we go to Africa, they just think, oh, I'm Africa. And they've been so Americanized and so American brainwashed that they don't understand that the African Americans that have been returning to Africa for over 200 years, in Sierra Leone, like 230 years, returning. And also, there's also African American returnees to Ghana, Jamestown, Ghana. You know, Lagos, Nigeria was populated by Creoles and people from Sierra Leone, settlers from Sierra Leone. People don't realize that history. Also, Afro-Brazilians that returned to Lagos, you know, and lived there. The first Africans that returned there engaged in the slave trade. And the second wave that came from Freetown were abolitionists. They helped with the anti-slavery movement, you know, in Lagos, Nigeria. So what we're talking about, folks, is this. You don't have to take one country and they tell you that, oh, you're coming back to Africa. No, we already have a connection in Africa. People don't know that the first black communities in South Africa were African Americans. People don't realize that history. You know, in places like Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban, there were African American communities that worked for American companies. Bishop Henry McNeil Turner settled in South Africa for a time. You know, people don't know that history. So, and then also there was George Washington Williams, who explored the Congo in the 1890s. He brought the charges against King Leopold of Belgium. You know, and people didn't know about that. He wrote about the atrocities in the Congo. And George Washington Williams' story was brought to life with Samuel Jackson in the 2017 movie Tarzan Greystone. Samuel Jackson played George Washington Williams. And I'm looking at people like, do you understand who this great man was? And he wanted to build a new kingdom, and kick out the Belgium and build a new kingdom in the Congo so black people could return to the Congo. You know, but he was written out in history books, and our so-called scholars don't even talk about him. So this idea of African Americans have been pioneering going to Africa for a couple of hundred years now. So all we're doing is continuing on history. And the greatest example was the establishment of the Republic of Liberia. Okay, that was a grand finale of the repatriation movement. Okay, out of Liberia came a republic that stood the test of time for 200 years. So anybody, everything that we have in America has collapsed. Blacks, Wall Street, and Tulsa collapsed. You know, the Civil Rights Movement collapsed. All this other collapsed. But Liberia is still standing. So what does that tell you? That tells you that maybe that returning to Africa and building something, right, what we control from the top to the bottom is the answer. You know, is the answer. So people say, well, America. I said, look, you're taking black people, and the black race has been taking L's in Jamaica, America, Panama. Everywhere you look in the West, black people are taking L's, you know. Yeah, you got successful black people here. But what kind of success can you have when you're constantly a minority? You're constantly being vilified in the media. You're constantly being othered, you know. And you got tensions between black people from different groups of people now. You got Nigerians going at African Americans and Caribbeans going at African Americans and all this kind of foolishness and nonsense. What do we get out of all this? You know, everyone comes here to jockey for position with white America. You know, it used to be a time where people came to America and they joined the black community. You know, Jamaicans came to Harlem and we were all one people. But now people coming here and they're like, yo, you know, I just want to come over here and enjoy the good infrastructure and the good the money and whatnot. I don't want to be part of no struggle. So black people in America, you're left holding the bag. You ain't got nothing to say. So you'll say, so what are you fighting for anymore? You know, you're fighting for anymore. So now it's time to look for ourselves, you know, you know, and the history that we built in Liberia is something that we could look and say with pride and say, yeah, that's part of it. Like the Jews have with Israel. You know, a lot of Jews haven't been in Israel, but they know that state is there because it protects them. It's a psychological. It's all psychological. If we do that in Liberia and Sierra Leone, and we had cities established, homelands and industries and everything like that, and we could fit in and just live and everything just by booking a plane ticket and stuff like that, you know, that's a peace of mind. Then you can navigate this thing called America better, because you're coming to America from a position of power, a position of strength. You know, you're not coming on your knees. You're not coming begging. You're not, oh, my knees, oh, white man, please don't beat us no more. Please accept us and everything. Did you see that video I sent you, Bomani, about with that white lady? She was saying, hey, I don't have nothing wrong with black people, but what if my daughter starts getting attracted? I don't know. I'm not against the color. That was like in the 1960s. I'm saying to myself, and then all these black people comment like, see, white people like that still live. I'm like, what did she say was so wrong? She said that she was against, her daughter marrying a white black man, stuff like that. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I'm like, why are we mad? Why are those white people mad at? You should be so proud. You should be proud of yourself and saying, yes, oh, okay, I don't want my son or daughter marrying a white boy. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with preserving somebody's race and heritage, Nobody ever goes to Jews, and 99% of Jewish girls marry Jewish boys, and nobody gives them any hell. Have you ever seen a girl from India, Bomani, with a black man or white man? Never. You never do it. Indians make sure their women are married off before they even get a chance to think, and the bottom line is, and then why Indians are strong, because they keep their culture and their race to themselves. And black people have to do the same thing. You have to do the same thing. You got to be race conscious, And if you're race conscious and you know that your future is tied to building your race up, then naturally, then you look at black countries like, yeah, we have to build these countries up. Why don't we have investments in these countries? Why don't we have a 401k? Why is our city investing money in Canada and all these other places, and Dubai and everything, but they're not putting money into African futures or African bonds or African stuff? Why aren't we doing that? Why is it all these other countries? We have this congressional black caucus over in Africa and everything. Well, you guys can't bring home the bacon. Israel gets $10 billion a year of taxpayer money. How come the black political class in America can't get that same type of money in particular African countries? Where would that? How far would Africa be right now if the United States basically gave, look, the United States, Joe Biden just gave Ukraine $16 billion and bringing 100,000 of them over here, with free healthcare and everything like this. So what the hell are we doing with our vote? And this is going to extend more than just a trips and travel investment, right? Once we basically say, once we build the African stock exchange and investments and everything, now you have an interest in something. See, there's a difference, Bomani, between being interested in something, right, and having an interest. Okay, when you have an interest, right, that means you have something you want to protect, and how you protect that with politics, your vote, your politics. If you don't have a interest in something, right, that means you have a tangible thing, and the interest can't be emotional. It has to be something that you have a value that you want to protect, that you want to have continuity with. If we start doing business in Africa, right, what happens when the United States government says, something, we don't like Liberia no more, we're banning all travel? That's going to damage our interest in Africa, in Liberia. So therefore, that's why we have to be diligent. No more voting for people that's not going to protect our interests. And that's why I say these ADOS people, FBA people are dangerous. They want African Americans because they're mad because we're successful. Oh, Africa, that's stupid and everything. Now they see us putting investments and money and everything. They want this to stop. They would love nothing better than the United States government say, something. They thought that the United States was going to cut down, stop Africa travel with COVID. They thought Africa was going to be epicenter of COVID. That didn't happen, so they're angry about that. So the bottom line is this: we have to make sure our interests in Africa are secured. And when you go over there, you have the time of your life, and you buy a piece of property, you want to invest in some land, you find some partners over there, you want to invest in tobacco industry, rice industry, and you got some money coming in and stuff like that. And you're like, man, I'm over here, I'm freaking having the time of my life, and I'm investing, and I'm on my own soil. And then you're going to want to protect that. But the problem is, you look at the politics in Black America, is everybody sitting around talking about a reparations check, not protecting anything tangible and everything. You're sitting around talking about foolishness. You're talking about police reform, also like that. How did that work out for you? In Minneapolis, we tore the city of white people and Black people tore the city of Minneapolis up, right? And just a minute ago, a police just shot down what's his name? What's his name? I gotta say his name right. I just had his name on. I was just talking about him on my show the other day. Amir Locke. Yeah, his name is Amir Locke. A no-knock warrant. Busted his thing. I thought the George Floyd effect was in effect, I thought, man, once George Floyd, we torched up, they know now like that. They gave the George Floyd some money, and they gave Al Sharpton some money, and Benjamin Crump some money, and the police are back doing the same thing. Like, yo, look, man, the bottom line, we're gonna do what the fuck we want to do. We y'all gonna do riot again? Y'all gonna riot again? Now, even the white people that was your so-called allies are tired of you. You know, tired of you. If that was it, did you really think that police brutality and police shooting was gonna stop? You know, all this nonsense. We put all this political capital that we had, that we built up for generations, right, into this last election, right? Well, once Joe Biden gets in office, man, once Massa Biden gets in office, everything's gonna be great and everything. Once we get rid of the orange man, everything. Now things have gotten worse. Look at inflation. Look at gas prices. You know, look at this. For a minute, there was a travel ban on South Africa for the Omicron variant when the Omicron guy was in Europe, but they blame South Africa. Nothing's changed in the world. We've still got sanctions on Zimbabwe, racist sanctions on Zimbabwe. What the fuck are we doing with our vote? You know, and so therefore, that's why I say we have to, and also, and not just to put it all on the West, right? We have enemies on the African continent. You know, we have enemies that are working for Europe. Look at all these people that are basically Africans talking about, yeah, they want to go to Europe and fight for Ukraine. Ukraine is a freaking neo-Nazi state. You know, Ukraine is getting what it freaking wants, what it deserves, right? It was basically testing biological weapons, right? It was provocating Russia. Russia went in there and took them out. And so therefore, you got Africa. I just read today that some Africans are now dying on the battlefield for Ukraine. Here you got Africans can't even cross the Sahara Desert in peace and everything because you got Arab terrorists, Arab-inspired terrorists, but yet you are going over to Ukraine to fight in their war. What the fuck is going on? So this is why we want to basically have a new order, new world order as far as the black race is concerned. It's black African infrastructure, black people first, right? If you're going to die, you're going to die fighting for liberty and the security of Africa and black people. You know, if you are going to fight in the European wars or American wars, you are a race traitor. You don't belong with us. And that's why I say Liberia is an excellent place to launch this. Once we get the Liberians on our side and what we're talking about and our mindset and everything, then they'll see the world from a Pan-African, black first point of view. And then we can easily navigate to the rest of the continent. My vision is to have one country, which we don't have to go to every country to do business. We got one country where we got people from Tanzania represented, people from Angola represented, people from Nigeria represented, people from Ghana represented. And I believe that country is going to be Liberia. You know, Liberia is going to be our extended family, you know, our extended family, because our ancestors built that country. And so that is Liberia is our, not only is Liberia our link to Africa, it's going to be our link to the world. You know, if we can't do certain things with certain countries that America doesn't like, hey, we can do it in Liberia. You know, if America doesn't, I'm going to say some dangerous words here. If America doesn't like Iran wants to come and do business with us, hey, so be it. In Liberia, we're free to do whatever we want to do. You know, but that's going to take us really getting together as a race and building Liberia to that point where it can withstand that, you know, and we have to make sure that politicians don't sell us out, you know, that do our bidding for us and everything. So that's what we're talking about tonight, folks, you know. That's what we're talking about tonight, folks, you know. And so
Absolutely, brother. Appreciate you just sharing that to put everything in perspective. And family, what I'm doing is clicking on our website information right there so you can see the dates and you can just get a nice little overview. So while we're on the website, africafortheafricans.org, you click on Liberia Reconnection Investment Tour July 2023, and then you just click on the overview. So the overview is just going to break down details of tour packages with flights included and flights not included. And so we're looking to get you flights, a few different options to get you to Monrovia, Liberia, where most of the action is going to take place, but we're also going to make sure we take you to the countryside. So these are some of the things that I want to let you know that our tours includes transportations and tours throughout Liberia, daily exercise and meditation session for those who just want to get up and just get their body right in the morning and everything. That's just something that we always just let everybody know, just to get out and stretch, exercise, and get a nice flow in the morning. Daily continental breakfast and gourmet dinner. So the only thing that's not included will be your daily lunch. So the goal is to take you to a wonderful place to have lunch daily. We're looking at 4-star hotel accommodations, and let me show you. We're gonna be lodging at RLJ Candaja Resort and Villas, and that is basically Bob Johnson Hotel. So we just thought it would just be ideal just to stay there and make our movements from there. We are gonna stay in another place also when we out on the countryside, but that is our main location of where we're gonna be staying, and it'll be laid out on an itinerary once I put it together and get a nice little flow. The other things that's included is business and investment conference. What we want to do, we wanted to open things up to where we can get people minds open to acquiring land and investing, and also meeting people in the country that's about that serious life and business, real business people. So we're going to be working on the networking to get these things done. So I want to let people know that we're not just reaching out to them to bring them on just a nice, beautiful tourism in Liberia, which is fine, but we want to also take it to that other level, literally, because when we talk about reconnection and rebuilding and the 200 years settlement, we're talking about an incredible country that we really need to just make it a priority for the repatriation movement. And if we're going to do that, we have to add in the level of investment. Tour also include entrance and access to all sites and activities. And what's not included is lunch, group tips, any camcorder fees at the sites, which those are usually not the case. The Liberia visa as of now is $160, and that's for 12 months multiple entry. The 9-day tour highlight, let me just go through this, and full city tour of Monrovia. And while I'm talking, Kala, you can also drop some points on this as we go through the highlights. You've been to the capital city, Monrovia, and things like that. So these things that we're going to be going to is the Liberian National Museum. We always tell everyone when we're traveling, we always make sure that we look at whatever national museum or museums are in the area. That way we can just go there to get connected to the roots and culture, because the history, the roots, culture, and all those things are at museums and those historical places.
Right.
Capitol
Hill Island, they got a replica now of the Elizabeth, the first ship that landed in Freetown. They ran in Freetown. The Elizabeth landed Freetown, but there was another boat that they stayed for 2 years in Cherbourg Island in Sierra Leone, and then they went to Liberia on another boat. But they still did the replica as if the Elizabeth went to Providence Island.
Saying as we were literally beautifully going through this 9-day tour highlight in Liberia. So let's literally continue from that.
Bushrod Island, that's a free port, and you got Freeport of Monrovia. If you look at it right there, man, that's where Liberia was building its industrial base and everything. Really, really, I mean, if you look at Liberia, what I loved about Liberia was, when I was there, I was actually continuing on the culture and the civilization of my ancestors who returned, right? And they returned with the idea that, see, people don't really understand something. I'm gonna drop a lot of Liberian history tonight. When Liberia was created, right? They created with the idea that we, the black race, have to adopt modernity. That means modern world, right? And the reason why that happened is that these African Americans and Africans from the Caribbean that came there, right, had 200 years to plan this. Liberia was like 200 years in the making. It isn't just one day they went over there and built. No. They had 200 years to think about what would be if we return to Africa. They were talking about this in black circles for 200 years before Liberia happened. And so when the opportunity came, right, in the 1800s, right, they said, okay, America's a republic now, right? The die is cast, because no one knew what America was going to be. Remember, America was the 13 colonies, right? When it became 13 colonies, America used to be parts of Florida was controlled by Spain, and Mississippi was controlled by Spain. The French had portions of Maryland and parts of Virginia, and so therefore America wasn't in America yet. You know, the Dutch had New York and stuff like that. So there was no this idea of America. So America was the idea of all these white people coming together and becoming people, one people, e pluribus unum. And so what happened was the black people said, you know something? Europeans were being proud of being European Americans, right? We're going to be proud to be Africans, right? And that's where the term African Methodist Episcopal Church came from, the African Repository, the African Missionary Church, the African this, African that, the African Masonic Order. All these things were like, okay, we're African. That means in a modern political term, we are African. That means we're from the black continent. We're black people. We're Africans, you know? And so therefore, it wasn't no longer about what part of Africa you came from and everything. If you were black, you were part of Africa. Africa meant a black man, a black woman. You know, it was all about race. And I hear people now, they want to define Africa by geography. Africa is not about geography, it's about race. You know, our blood comes from Africa. Our bloodline comes from Africa. So every black man in the world that's from Africa is an African, no matter where he was born at. Africa is something that's born in you. It's not where you were born. It's something that's born in you. And so therefore, we have to talk about that, because people will say, well, when you people came back to Africa, you weren't Africans anymore. How can you not go to Africa? You're no longer African, you know? And it's all about power. See, when I was growing up, right, white people would call, the worst thing I was called when I was growing up was not nigga. That was what they called you, right? But when they called you an African, that really hurt you. Oh my God, I'm an African. Yeah, that's the worst thing you can call you. Then when you took that and learned to be proud of it and learn like that, now suddenly the rules change. Now suddenly, oh, you're not African. Like this one fool that just sort of said, oh, we're Americans, we're Americans, we're Americans. So now that we're taking Africa and making it something great, now there's people both here and in Africa want to de-Africanize us. Oh, y'all colonizers, y'all building web. So we're not Africans anymore? Now, the reason why people put us in chains is because we're Africans. Now that we want to be free, we're no longer Africans. What are we? And so therefore, that's why I say Liberia is a place that where that war, that battle was settled, right? It was clear after Liberia was settled that the people that were returning were part of Africa, and they were returning to build Africa. And also they had something to contribute. They built the factories, they built the colleges, they built the schools, they built the infrastructure, they built the government, they got the sovereignty, the recognition, the diplomacy, everything that made Liberia stand for 200 years. They made that happen. And Liberia was a proud African republic controlled by black African people. And when you say black African people, you don't have to necessarily have a tribal tongue or anything like that. You African by your race. And that's something that the black people don't understand. Everybody else in the world understands the concept of race. You have the Chinese, right? You know something, Bomani? People don't realize this. How did China develop so fast? The Chinese reached into the Chinatowns all over the world. Now, people have been out of China for 200-300 years, you know, lived in London, spoke English, spoke German, everything. And they said, you know something? You are still Chinese. We need your engineering skills. We need your statesmanship skills. We need your math skills. Come back and build China. And that's what happened. People don't realize that history. We're the only group of people, and I said this before, why hasn't Nigeria reached to black America? Why, Nigeria could be number one in the world had they reached out to the black colleges in America and built on the success of the black inventors and everything. Right now, the average Nigerian doesn't know that all the inventions of their kinfolk that created in America, the thousands of patents that the African Americans hold. Why didn't they build on that? You know, why didn't they build on those things that the black race created in America and stuff like that? Why did they do that? Because the concept of race does not exist in Africa. You know, and so the whole thing, everybody, Nigeria, he's an Igbo man, or he's a black Brit, or he's all these things, but he's not an African. He's not a black man. Why is Nigeria and Ghana not working together, right? Between Nigeria and Ghana, there's enough brain power to build West Africa's infrastructure, but they don't work together. And this is what we're trying to solve, right? With us coming to Liberia, Sierra Leone, these countries and building, as we're trying to create that Pan-Africanist culture. And then one day Pan-African is not going to be something we talk about. It's going to be the law. It's going to be the law of the land. It's going to be the custom. It's going to be everything. We're going to have that, And so the whole thing is we cannot let Pan-Africanism die on the shores of Africa, It's not going to happen. It's all about the idea of we are one race, one race. We have our differences. We have our sections and everything, but we are all tied together. Africans are going to Ukraine, worrying about what's going on in Ukraine. Africans all day on Facebook crying over all those poor people. They don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about you in Africa, And you sit there crying and salivating over Ukrainians and whatnot. Who the fuck cares? And so I'm not saying we don't be empathetic, but we got to put our people first. There are people dying in Somalia. There's people dying in Kenya. There's people dying in Mali. There's people dying all over the continent. There's people dying. Still got millions of refugees in the Congo. But what I'm hearing, brother, that the Congo, there's wars starting up in the Congo again. Ain't nobody talking about that. That doesn't even make sense. There's a war going on in Cameroon, Amazonia movement, in northern Cameroon. They want to succeed from French Cameroon, English-speaking Cameroon. I've been covering that for 2 years, and no one's talking about that. There's a situation brewing in Western Zambia, Barotse land, There's a separatist movement. There's about to be some bloodshed. No one's caring about that. There's going to be refugees and everything pouring into Angola. But no one's talking about that. What we're talking about is Ukraine. All of those poor Ukrainians. And we're getting out of that. We got black HBCUs giving Ukrainian students free education. I mean, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So these people now want to come here after all this foolishness and tomfoolery. They want to friggin' lecture us about what we're talking about in Liberia, where you were sitting there giving money to Ukrainians and all these other people that come into America haven't done a damn thing for black people and everything. And you're giving them free college in HBCUs, taking spots away from a black student that could be getting an education. You're giving it to Ukrainians. All this foolishness is going on. Yeah, but tonight we're going to talk more about Liberia, okay? And like I said, if people think that investment, Liberia, let me tell you something. One thing I do see about Liberia is when you tell Liberians that they want to manufacture, there's a lot of good manufacturing going on in Liberia, and people are starting to be proud of their brand. And then one thing I see about Liberia is people will purchase Liberian products, and Liberian will support Liberian businesses. And I see in other parts of Africa, man, everything's imported is the best thing. But in Liberia, we're making Liberian rice, Liberian chocolates, and Liberian branded stuff. This is stuff that we can build on. And like I said, if people really want to get involved in real estate and everything, and the country's the only country in Africa where only black people can actually go to the land title deeds and buy a piece of property, and they're not going to ask you about where, as long as you're black, you can do that. That's the law. That's the country. That's the Constitution. Any black person can actually settle there and become a citizen if you want to. And so therefore that's a really good thing. You don't have to go through all the strings and rigmarole, of other countries. And I don't know where rightfully wrong with so. I've never been to Ghana, but I do know that they're gonna have to put the Ghanaians first, and Nigerians put Nigerians first. But Liberia's always been that country where black people from all over the world can settle and become Liberians. You're a Liberian once you touch Liberian soil. Any black person that touches Liberian soil is basically a Liberian, by definition. So it's like I said, it's connecting with this culture and connecting with this history. We're building where our ancestors started, and we're going to complete what they started, because our goal one day is to basically have Liberia and Sierra Leone and all these countries as a place where Pan-African business and Pan-African connections can really happen. So it was happening in the 60s and 70s and everything, and the West got a hold to it, and that's why they had to stop it. That's why you had the coup in 1980. And so therefore, ever since then, Liberia has been a backwater. But Liberia is not a backwater. I do believe Liberia is going to be its proper place once Black America understands that, like Israel, like Israel, you have a place of refuge, and that place of refuge is not just, anything. It's mental and psychological, and having a place of refuge is a thing. Because I know a lot of people will say, well, I go to Jamaica, I go here and everything. That's not the same thing as touching on a whole continent. Once you're part of a whole continent, once you're part of Liberia, you're also part of Ghana, you're also part of Sierra Leone, you're on the African continent, And so therefore, as we build the technology that's going to link all of us together and stuff like that, the infrastructure and everything, so you can be in one country and you're still connected with the rest. Just like you live in New York, right? And you're still connected to California, right? That's what we want to do. If you're living in New York and you're living in California, say Kaba says, I see my family do the same thing as Bongwan Mendy. I'm a maternal Mendy. That's good. So the whole thing is this: if Europe is connected by rail, sea, canals, everything, you can go from Paris to Milan and everything like no sweat. Why is it that Africa? It seems like Ghana and Nigeria is 1 million miles apart. You ever notice that? You got to fly to Europe, right? Wait for 2 days and then fly another place and then go to Ghana. It's ridiculous, it's ridiculous, man. I mean, let's get the basics. Infrastructure. People understand it's all about infrastructure. And the reason why you have infrastructure means that you're connected. It's just everything's systematic. And it would make Africa grow. You got every little country carved out, isolated from each other. It's like you got countries that have no trade with each other across the border. No travel, no nothing. I said all the answers you have 300 million people. How many 350 million people in West Africa? More than that, probably 340 million people in West Africa, But yet nobody there's no connection. All the Lebanese. Tell me anything Lebanon produces. Where does Lebanon get his money from? They get this money, and I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna make you mad right now, folks. It'll make you mad, right? Not only did Lebanese take millions and billions of dollars out of West Africa, they take it using your money, your African dollars. The African Development Bank, they always the number one people who win contracts from the African Development Bank and stuff like this. So they take African money that Africans got to pay back, right? And make themselves rich. Because we don't have a thing like the Lloyd group, The Lloyd group. But Bomani, you ready to play some video? Like I said, I really got to make my case tonight. You want to play some videos tonight? We got to play some videos.
If you have any videos, that's fine. I was just trying to go through the 9-day tour highlight. And
we got plenty. We got plenty of time. We got plenty of time tonight. We got plenty of time. But I want to make my point. I'm going to play this. Well, I'm going to play 2 videos. I want to play tonight. There's a video called the Lloyd group. This consortium from Southeast Asia. And I'm going to tell you.
Is it something you sent to me that I can just load up?
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you.
All right, so family, that is our 9-day tour highlight.
Let's see. Okay, we'll find the best videos, Lloyd group. And when I saw this, video, okay, civil engineering group, right? And I'm saying to myself, why hasn't Africa created this? It's a Lloyd group. It's a consortium of Southeast Asian companies, right? Based out of Singapore, Malaysia, India, and stuff like this, multinational. And it was made possible because of the 1955 Bandung Conference, where they said Asia has to build its own infrastructure up. We can't rely on the West. So I'm going to send you this video. I want you to play this. Okay, here it goes. All right, I sent it to you on WhatsApp.
Okay, gotcha. I am loading it up right now.
We're going to get back to the itinerary, 9-day tour. We're going to get back to I'm going to go over all that. But I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this case. Why Africa has not developed? Then even when Africa develops, right, we're losing. Africa has a net $90 billion loss. You know, oh, Africa. That's why I said the Africa Rising thing of 10 years ago was a joke. You know, it was a freaking joke. European companies, Chinese companies, everybody, Turkish companies are making millions of dollars building African infrastructure, but they leave with no skills and nothing behind what Africans can build themselves. We don't have the capacity to build anything, you know, ourselves. You know, and so, like I said, the Lloyd Group is an Asian company. It's an Asian company.
So I got it in queue. I can just play it right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Good. Lloyd Infrastructure Group. I dream about this for Black people.
There's one invaluable lesson that we have learned. Designing and building world-class structures is a blend of innovativeness, safety, and attention to detail. Building a world-class reputation, however, takes passion, honesty, and grit to deliver at all costs. The Lloyd Group has achieved all of this in over 2 decades. A global player providing EPC services in energy and infrastructure, Lloyd Group has a powerful presence in the Middle East, the Caspian, Asia Pacific, China, South Asia, and Europe. With 20 regional offices and 37 nationalities, we have executed projects in over 50 countries across the globe. The group has evolved to become a diversified international conglomerate comprising 3 world-renowned brands, Lloyd and PL Engineering, headquartered in India, and Sembawang Engineers and Constructors in Singapore, collectively offering a broad range of EPC expertise and At Lloyd, we have delivered civil infrastructure work for major public sector enterprises and private sector companies, executing aesthetic, economical, and globally. In the area of transport infrastructure, our work includes urban projects like subways and metro stations, airports, bridges, flyovers, and interchanges. We have also designed and built highways and expressways, tunnels and caverns, as well as seaports and terminals. In the field of utilities, our experience includes creation of reservoirs as well as water treatment plants. Our portfolio for mega urban infrastructure includes commercial, industrial, institutional, and residential complexes. We have to our credit high-spec buildings, townships, and industrial parks, multi-speciality medical institutions, as well as luxury leisure resorts. We flag off our journey with a breathtaking start. Among the many highways that we've built, the standout is India's Golden Quadrilateral, a national infrastructural dream come true, complemented by the prestigious East-West Corridor. In addition, the group also ventured into tollway construction when entrusted with the Vadodara-Halol tollway project. Our huge fleet of equipment makes execution of such mega projects possible. We own 13 sets of road equipment for bitumen laying and 3 sets of concrete laying, besides heavy earth-moving equipment. As most of the roads we build form an integral part of the country's transport network, we ensure safety at every step of construction. Lloyd achieves this by creating appropriate construction zones and adopting uniform traffic control methods and devices to ensure safety of both road users as well as construction workers. Daily toolbox meetings ensure safety during all operations, from working at heights to construction of sub and superstructures. In urban areas, we have reached new heights in viaduct construction, linked cities with major road interchanges and flyovers, and bridged islands to their mainlands, increasing urban connectivity for countries like Singapore and India. In India, we have constructed the Piragadi flyover and the Raja Garden flyover for the UP State Bridge Corporation Limited. We also executed Singapore's next generation of public transportation with the mass MRT and light rail transit RT projects. This world-class mega infrastructure includes stations, elevated and underground systems, depots, and more than 70% of the city's LRT systems. In India, we have been involved with prestigious sections of Delhi and Bangalore Metro, constructing both stations and viaducts. The group offers rich experience and world-class expertise in marine construction, having built seaports, jetties, and dry docks for Singapore, the major shipping hub of Southeast Asia. We have built many facilities for Asia's major aviation hub, the award-winning Changi Airport in Singapore. This ranges from terminal extensions to hangars and control towers, as well as supporting facilities such as training centers, freight and cargo terminals. In addition, we've also helped build in-flight catering centers and an MRT system to provide seamless journey to and from the airport. At Sikkim's Greenfield Airport in the foothills of the Great Indian Himalayas, Lloyd is building the highest reinforced earth wall in the world, 80 meters high. The airport is an altitude of 4,700 feet with deep valleys at both ends of the runway. In the midst of the intimidating urban congestion, we built Singapore's underground transport infrastructure, meticulously avoiding the existing deep tunnel sewerage system and the electricity network, while allowing life above to continue with minimal disruption. Availability of land is an immense concern in Indian metros as well. In the true spirit of urban sustainable development, waste area in the midst of the capital city was converted into a mammoth parking facility for the 2010 Commonwealth Games. We've built some of the tallest, most intelligent and exquisite buildings in major cities, turning them into architectural icons and the most sought-after commercial spaces. From high-end condominium, luxury villas, to modern student housing, we've built some of the most comfortable homes and exquisite residences in the world. 6-star luxury hotels and beachfront resorts to prestigious country clubs and championship golf courses, we've built some of the most luxurious places for people who value a premium lifestyle. Against all odds, we created a winter playground complete with ski slopes, snow, and a wintry climate in tropical Singapore. Our world-class competency in engineering and construction is especially valued in the healthcare sector, where precious lives are at stake. We have handled both ends of Medicare, right from advanced healthcare manufacturing facilities to sensitive hospital environments. One of our landmark projects is India's Medicity, the multi-speciality medical institute integrating high-end modern Medicare with alternative streams of medicine. Is an increasingly strategic role in the business process by providing cutting-edge technologies needed to create value and competitive advantage. Resources are optimally utilized through the use of sophisticated MIS and collaboration tools. Constantly innovating, our team of engineers focus on newer construction technologies. We were the first company to use the jacking method of tank erection in Singapore. As an OSAS 18001, ISO 14001, and ISO 9001 certified company, we adopt the world's best practices of HSEQ: health, safety, environment, and quality. Safety is an absolute. One of Lloyd's key strengths lies in its ability to design temporary structures for construction. These include wall, slab, tunnel, table formwork, climbing system for lift core walls, proprietary scaffolding systems, hoisting, shoring, launching scheme of girders, and casting of piers and caps. We've also prepared temporary pre-stressing and propping schemes for bridge erection. On the last leg of our journey, we take you behind the scenes for a glimpse of our most crucial assets, our people. Our multinational workforce, with a rich and varied experience, is extremely precious to us. Nurturing talent is critical at Lloyd. We continuously train our workforce at our Executive Development Center in Bangalore. Our efforts towards worker welfare can be gauged through our worker colonies, which are in keeping with IFC standards, with regular medical camps and yoga being organized. Well-traveled and highly adaptable, our people can be readily mobilized globally to seamlessly integrate into the local environment, intricate projects, testing conditions, and grueling timelines. We've built our reputation by repeatedly delivering successfully within these stringent parameters. It is intuitive for us to see world-class quality standards as benchmarks to meet and to beat. In our pursuit of excellence, we won accolades from renowned clients and awards from distinguished bodies around the world. What compels and propels us? The unflinching faith of our stakeholders who believe that, for the Lloyd Group, nothing is impossible. Who count on us to deliver safe, sustainable, high-quality solutions for global infrastructure. Always.
See what the key word, Bomani? He said multinational. See how these countries are all working together in Asia? You know, multinational. And I said on Diane's show, how come I don't see the African version of the Lloyd Group? You know?
Yeah, brother. That's everything that they show. I was like, man, we need some of that right there. And that's the direction people like ourselves want to grow into. But you tell people it's not that easy because you need it takes groups of us together. Putting big money together. So
a mindset.
But yeah, all of that we need right there. As we build our real estate development operation there in Ghana, these are some of the things that we're thinking about. So I'm telling people that some of us out there just doing the best we can do, but it's like all hands on deck situation where we need more people to join forces to make it work. And that video right there is a perfect look, brother. I'm glad you played that right there because I want people to understand that these are the things that we're lacking.
We need engineers. We need engineers. We need scientists. You see how they talked about each country, whatever the challenges are and stuff like that. And you see Indians, Malays, Chinese, everybody working together, And so the whole thing is that doesn't happen overnight. You need leadership to make that happen. That's a multinational company. I don't know. Do we have any African multinational companies?
I'm sure we do, but a lot of times these are things that we don't really know about, but it's not as popular as everyone else. Because when you look at who's doing all the development in Africa, unfortunately, a lot of it is the foreign investors, mainly from Europe and Asia.
And it gets me is these countries in Asia don't have oil; they don't have natural resources. How the hell? You know what I'm saying? They have nothing but their people and their skills, and they make it happen. Africa has all the natural resources, oil, and it's still not happening.
The issue is they all have industrial base. That's the difference. That's what we're lacking. So we have the natural resources, and then they have the industrial base to to make those things happen.
We have to build Africa's industrial base up. It's not that hard to do, but we can't have that when we have a brain drain on the continent. We got the smartest people.
That killed us for the last 700 years. It has taken the best of our people out of Africa.
The Africans that came from the transatlantic slave trade, and then you got Africans who spend 30 years. I seen this one thing with disheartening, man. It broke my heart, right? They was talking about interviewing Africans in Germany, right? What do you think about Germany? Well, I'm from Nigeria, but I consider myself German now and whatnot, and Germany is going to change one day. And I call myself a German Nigerian, Nigerian German. I'm like looking at this I'm like saying also, yeah, Germany's going to change. We're going to probably marry. We're going to marry. My wife's German. I'm like, dude, man, you left your country, right, to go to Europe and become a fucking German, man. I mean, I don't fucking get it, man. I don't get it, man. I'm like, yo, Nigeria is suffering right now. It needs your freaking ingenuity. It needs you to return home and everything. And what gets me is we got African Americans who want to come home to Africa, and there's blockage.
Right. Unfortunately,
there's blockage. Africans are leaving the country and whatnot, trying to get the hell out. Whatnot. We want to come home, and people giving us static. What the fuck is going on? Nothing's right. That's why I said once we basically lock ourselves down, once we have ourselves in Liberia, and we're on the continent. I can't wait till the day when we have a strong base in Liberia and Sierra Leone, like a good 100,000 of us. I ain't just talking about anybody. I'm talking about really people. I mean, really solid African Americans that live on the continent. Once we have that, then we could build satellites, communities all across the continent. That's what the BIO is all about. Build these satellite communities that are working together. all across the continent, and we're gonna make change. You know, we're gonna say no, we have a voice right now, and I want to talk about something about this phony thing called the African Union, 6th region. That's a farce. You know, people want to debate me on that. That's a farce. No, Colin, we're the 6th region. I said, yo, you ain't no damn 6th region.
6th region.
You know what the 6th region are? Anybody who was born in Africa. That means Charlize Theron is a freaking 6th region. She's an African born in America, you know? They redefine Africa by geography, not by what Kwame Nkrumah. The Africa means race, you know? And the people, Pan-African means black race. It didn't mean you were born on the African continent. Now you got Afrikaners who are freaking calling shots and talking about, yeah, I'm African too. And African, yes, he's African too. I'm like, look at these buffoons. Like, are y'all kidding me? He came there and enslaved you, took everything, got all most of the land and most of the wealth of South Africa. You call him a fellow African, you know? And you would never see. You got white people that are hold over from the British Empire. Did they think they called Indians? No. You got white people that live in Hong Kong. Are they called Chinese? No. But what is it, the only group of people that people can come to the African continent and they become Africans? I mean, what does it freaking mean anymore? What does it mean? It has no meaning. When something has no meaning, you got to get rid of it. It has no value to you. You know, you can't just say, okay, if anybody can say that African, it loses meaning. It loses what it means. You know, I'm African. You know, yeah, but you don't look African. You don't have our phenotype. You don't have our hair. Well, Africans also, if 90% of the people look like me on the continent, wouldn't it say that we have something in common, that we're both black, we're both African, we got the same hair, nose, skin, everything, so we're only African? But the whole thing is, you a white person, blonde hair, blue eye, you look like Europeans. Suddenly, oh yeah, you're African too. No, you're European living in Africa. You know, and all because we're a merciful people, we let you stay here. You know, and so like I said, we have to basically be, and like I said, our ancestors who built Liberia knew what they're talking about. In Liberia's constitution, the Articles 27 of the Liberian Constitution, only people of black Negro descent are allowed to become citizens and settle here on land. You know, that's still in the Constitution. Now, there are exceptions, you know, the Lebanese own hotels and everything, only because they got money. And some of the Lebanese, what they do is I seen it when I was over there, they marry Liberian women, you know, like the restaurant I went to called Lila Brown. There was a Lebanese guy there, but his girlfriend or wife was a Liberian lady, a cute little teenage daughter, like a preteen daughter, and a younger daughter, like a toddler. And they're a couple that run this restaurant called Lila Brown. I had a good time. You know, a nice place if you ever go to Liberia. Lila Brown, nice little club, has an outdoor patio and everything. It's really nice, you know, off 19th Street. But I was like, okay, that's how they're doing it. You know, they marry Liberian women and stuff like that, and they get deeds and property and everything, you know. And that happens all over Africa, you know. Europeans and Chinese, they get in Angola, they do that too. They want to get into mining. They hook over to an Angolan girl and stuff like that. So while the black man, he sits back trying to get to Europe and everything, everybody else is coming to Africa, taking his woman, taking his land, taking his minerals and everything, and getting rich. You know, and so, like I said, I don't have time for fools no more. You know, I know what we need to do, and we're going to do this. Now, we'll talk about this Liberia trip. Now, one of the things, places, a highlight of the trip, which should be the Ducor Hotel, the J.J. Roberts Monument. Did you ever see the video I did of that, Bomani?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you ever see that video?
Yes, of the monument of the first president of Liberia. Yes.
I saw that video I did. Okay. When I did that video, right? And like I said, man, spirit was moving me that day, man. And I basically just was talking about how what the monument meant, you know. And I saw that monument for years. And then when I finally saw it up close, right, it was like, wow, I'm finally seeing this in person. You know, it was right under J.J. Roberts' statue, and I saw the bust of the people who settled in Liberia. It told the whole history of like the early settlement. You know, they fought, you know, and we don't candy coat the history. You know, there was conflict between the African Americans and diaspora who came back and the local people's conflict. But for the most part, like our sister Kyle said, it was mostly peaceful. There was marriage between the two groups of people. and out of that came a unique Liberian culture, like a Creole culture. People don't realize the culture of the Creole. Creole means mix, means, blend. African American culture is a Creole culture. We came from different parts of Africa. We have English in there. We have Christianity. We have African spirituality. It's like a Creole culture. It's all mixed together. Our black church is different from a white church. We praise, we shout, we speak in tongues, we do all stuff like that. That comes from our African culture. And so therefore, this idea that African Americans aren't African or whatever, like that's a foolishness. Yeah? Where's our music? Where's jazz come from? Where's all dances? All the stuff like that is African, reggae, that's African roots, And so all these people who try to de-Africanize us, right? We only want to de-Africanize us when we're ready to take power. When you're ready to take power and say, yo, let's start building Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ghana. Oh, no, they ain't African. No. I'm just as African as Ashanti is. Well, no, I don't have to do all that. We're both African. I'm just one version of Africa. You were one version of Africa. If you were so great, if your way was so great, I would never been on the slave ship in the first place. That's what I would tell people. I tell people all the time, if you were so great, Africa wouldn't be suffering right now. So we need to all come together. The whole entire black race needs to see where we can fit in, where we can help out and everything. And this tour right here is a beginning. If you got African Americans going to the continent, right, visiting places, I'm guaranteed when you see Grand Bassa, right, if you can get into Sunset Beach, right, it wasn't open when I was there, but it should be open by the time we go, Bomani. You got to see the black rocks, the stones on the coast. You got to hear the ocean. The ocean, Liberian water is like gray. You'd say that grayish color, right? The sand is like white, like sugar, And you see the beach is like so clean. So what you call it? When you go to Caesar Beach, I had a blast. Hey, you want to see a video from Caesar Beach, Monty, when I was there?
Oh yes, you sent me videos.
No. Do you want to play it? The Caesar Beach?
Oh no, we don't have to play those videos.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Wanted to let people know that we had a list of
Caesar Beach. I was gonna give a visual of Caesar Beach. It has a lagoon, beautiful, and there's like mansions in the back where the Caesar family lived, the whole clan lived, right? And it has a bridge that goes over to where the people lived, right? And then on the front side of the beach has a big clubhouse that stands overlooking the sea. It's like 25, 30 feet high. And it's like a clubhouse up there where they play music at, and there's a DJ booth and everything like that. It's like a little club up there. And then they have all the friggin' the tables and little what do they call the things that go over tables for shade and stuff like that. And they have a bunch of gazebos there and stuff like that. And then the lagoon, right there, have a lagoon there. People have their little water sports. They have little paddle things. And you could play out there. And it's just, I had so much fun. Caesar's Beach is a treasure, I highly recommend that, Sophia Rock Beach, I have that's late night, just go there, you could buy some drinks, whatever like that, set up your table or bring your own drinks, whatever like that, and have them pour for you. And you could have music, and it's right on the ocean, and you're sitting there and you talk about therapeutic, man. I was like, man, it was like 4:00 in the morning. I didn't want to go home. I was like, I didn't want to go inside. I was like, my God, I'm having ball, And like I said, I'll be honest with you, you bring a jacket because at nighttime it's a little chilly. People think, oh, yeah, Africa is hot. No. Nighttime it gets a little chilly. You might want to bring a jacket, on the beach. But yeah, on RLJ, think about it. That is like history, African American Robert Johnson built that hotel, 4-star hotel, nice hotel. You go there, you will have a good time. Food is good. They got the bar, they got the club, they got the pool, they got everything there. They got outdoor volleyball nets. You want to play volleyball. They got the chairs and hammock and everything. It is beautiful. And so therefore, what I'm saying is what your experience is, you're connecting with your ancestors who came to Liberia and found paradise. while our ancestors were suffering in the West and suffering everything, those who made it to Liberia found themselves in a tropical paradise. You know, they found themselves in a tropical paradise. They were able to build the sort of lives they had in America, but in the beauty of Africa. Liberia is absolutely a beautiful country, a beautiful history, a beautiful country, and it's something that African Americans can relate to. It's Africa, and then also you also got the 16 tribes of Liberia. So you got the Guios, the Manos, the Kras, the Vai. You got the Bassas and everything. You got African culture, traditional African culture and art on display all the time. You can get African masks. So you got Africa and you got a little piece of Black America all in one place. And like I said, as far as the nightlife, I highly recommend the Calabas. That's called the Miami. It's right there on the lagoon. And they call it, the owner says, I want to make it like Miami. So it's like South Beach, Miami, right there in Liberia. The club is off the chain. It's called the Calabas. So when you're going to go out the club at night, whatnot, you will have a good time. You will have a good time. And also, when you go to a restaurant, unlike here, I saw Mark Blanton said this in South Africa too. You take 4 people to oh yeah, I saw the coded the Calabas. Yeah, I saw that video. I saw that. When you go to Liberia and you eat in a restaurant, you pay for 4 people. In America, with the meals and everything like that, you know, you have fish, steak, whatever like that, you're looking at $200. In Liberia, I'm looking at $65. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's it. You got $65 for for treating having 4 people out. You can't beat that. So the bottom line is this: it's a win-win situation. And then while you're there, I guarantee you, what you want to do is you want to make connections with people. You know, take names, exchange people's down. Join the BAIO social network and the Liberia chapter, right? Download the app to your phone. So you meet somebody there, say, hey, look, you know, let's connect on BAIO on our social network, right? Because we want to get out of Facebook and everything, meeting people on Facebook and stuff, you know, because Facebook is controlled and monitored. So we have our own social network which you can connect with Liberians and you guys can share information and stuff like that, or just get your own WhatsApp account and do it like that. And I urge everybody to connect with people on the ground. You know, you meet business people. I had my furniture made when I was in Liberia by a Liberian craftsman, man. That mean, I don't even want to tell you, man. It's just, I was just blown away by how they made my bed, nice bed, you know, painted it black and whatnot. You know, I had my living room furniture made and stuff like that. And yo, I was like, yo, blown away. The guy said, I saw all this foam. He said, oh, that's your pillows. Guy had these big, long rolls of material, right? And next thing you know, he cut that up. Boom, 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 boom. Here's your pillows for your sofa. I'm like, get out of here. Took bamboo, bent it and everything like that. I had the strongest tables and chairs I've ever seen in my life out of bamboo. And I'm like, man, yo, so you got craftsmen all over the country that'll build anything for you. See, our ancestors before, when they went to Liberia, they had to bring wood frame houses, bring equipment, bring saws and everything. Now you can build anything in Liberia with the people on the ground. You got people who do everything, make everything from doors to anything, you know, make patios, anything. It's all on the ground. You got so many skilled people on the ground doing stuff. So if you want to invest in any side of business, when that's easy to start a business over there and everything, I would highly recommend you meeting people and see what people need and see what you want to invest in and stuff like that. So, and also when you invest in Liberia, your business is successful. Let's say I would urge manufacturing. If you have a brand, and I'm gonna tell you right now, a thing that would make a thing is cigars. Like back in the days, Liberia used to grow its own tobacco, its own cigarette. It had its own cigarette industry because they had no tobacco industry. And so they had their own local brands of cigarettes and everything. But I don't know if they ever made cigars in Liberia, you know. Liberia is like, if somebody goes into the tobacco industry, got some capital and know how to make cigars or whatever, or partner with somebody, you would make a friggin' fortune. You would literally make a fortune in the cigar industry, you know. Also, the wine making industry is really, really poised. All those things. And then whatever you make in brand, you could sell and ship to America because Liberia is under the AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunities Act. That means if you make something in Liberia, in other words, we have to move beyond shea butter, folks. We have like a million shea butter people, stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about, Bomani. You know, everybody's in the shea butter. We got enough shea butter people. There's other things you can make, you know. There's other products that you could invest in, you know. And so there's a lot of stuff that you can build and then ship back to the United States or ship to other parts of Africa. Because, like I said, there's a whole market of it. It's easy, you know, because things sell really fast because people want these things and everything. And you got buyers and vendors that'll buy from you and resell them on the streets and stuff like that. So you could, you know, you manufacture your stuff, whatever you manufacture is going to have a market for it. You could manufacture some for the African market, or you could manufacture some for the European market or the American market. But the thing is, labor is cheap. The biggest expense in any manufacturing is labor. And labor is very cheap. You can get stuff made for very cheap. If you're in the clothing industry, you know, labor is very cheap. Manufacturing is very cheap. You know, you don't have to pay somebody $15 an hour to get something made. You know, you could pay somebody $20 a week, but we don't want to pay nobody that. But I would say you could pay somebody $20 a day, $15 a day, and you're still making money, you know, and it's still good. You know, that's the going rate in Africa. I mean, that's not going to be there forever, but you definitely want to invest in everything. If you plan on manufacturing something, I ask people right now, what do you want to do? You know you're not going to be able to manufacture in America, but do you know that you can have it manufactured in Africa and have it shipped to America duty-free, tax-free? It's called the African Growth and Opportunities Act. That means stuff made in Africa. Now, you know who's taking advantage of that? Chinese. Chinese are setting up factories in Africa and shipping to America tax-free, duty-free. That was mainly for black people. But because we don't define people that by black, they said African Growth Opportunity Act. But they never made a stipulation. It has to be done by black African people. So that was the loophole the Lebanese, the Indians, and everybody else is taking advantage of to ship goods from Africa to the United States duty-free. That should be us doing that. I mean, what do I have to do? Do I have to get on the Empire State Building and scream it? You know, Africa, if the place that we want to build infrastructure industries, it has to be Black Africa. Now, Liberia has its challenges with the electricity and stuff like that, but that could be solved. That's being solved, you know? And so, like I said, once we basically come there and maybe we could bring our own engineers and everything like that, as far as like electricity concern and stuff like that. But whatever problem is that, wherever there's a problem, there's opportunity. And then we say, well, what it was always that we do this because wouldn't it be prideful if you could go over there and become a successful businessman? Your product is selling in Liberia, is selling in Africa, and selling in America. Wouldn't that give you a high self-esteem as you're now a new African businessman? You know, you got a stake on the continent. You have an interest in the continent, not just sitting on Facebook talking about Africa this, Africa this. That's being interested in something. That's a spectator, you know. A spectator is interested in something. The difference when the person who goes to see a basketball game is interested in basketball. The people who own the team have an interest in the basketball game. You see what I'm saying? They're making money. You know, they have an interest. They have something at stake here. But you sitting in the stands, cheering and everything, wearing the jersey, you're just interested in that. You don't have an interest. You don't have a stake. You don't stock in it, you know? This is what we cannot become spectators in Africa. You know, Garvey warned this years ago. He said, Africa will be a great place, but it won't be a black man's continent. You remember when Garvey said that? He said, it won't be a black man's continent. He said, people will come there getting rich and everything. And I remember this thing that really burned me years ago. You know, this thing called Africa, something, I don't know, whatever it was, but that's when it was back in 2009. And that's when my eyes opened up, right? It was these Europeans, right? And it was right around the time where South Africa, you know, was set to host the Olympic Games or whatever. I mean, excuse me, the World Cup, whatever. and a couple of years or whatever. I think it was 2010. South Africa had the World Cup. Well, anyway, these white guys had made a lot of money in Southern and the Northern Cape. I guess they were selling wine, whatever. And with a stroke of a pen, they were instant millionaires or some shit like that, right? But they did this video and they were just pouring wine at each other, just like, yeah, Africa and whatnot. And it's sort of these Europeans just celebrating Africa. They just kept saying Africa. And I'm saying to myself, getting rich and whatnot in Africa and whatnot, this is the new Africa. And they'll say Africa rising. And I'm saying, how is Africa rising? And I'm seeing only white people rising, you know? And so, and that's when I said we have to create something called the Black African infrastructure. You know, it was white infrastructure that was benefiting from Africa. White shipping companies, white manufacturers, white industrialists, white industries, but Black African infrastructure was non-existent. So we create the Black African infrastructure. We said, what does it mean that? It means Black African. You cannot have a nation and not have your own Black African infrastructure. That's what Africa is making its thing. In Cameroon and Ivory Coast, and everything is still controlled by Europeans, you know, and the airlines and whatever it is, all logistics and everything that comes in and out of the countries are controlled by Europeans, you know. Kaba says, yeah, I love it. That's right. Yes. That's why you got to listen to Brother Bomani and College Genesis. We tell it like it is. I'm not going to give you a rose-colored pellet. We have a lot of work to do. You know,
I appreciate you breaking that down, because that's exactly what we want people to understand, that when you talk about building something from the ground up, it's serious work. But at the end of the day, when you build it, you own it. The issue is that we have a whole beautiful African continent. Some of our best people are not on the continent, and others come there, take advantage of the opportunity. So when people ask me, what have I seen in West Africa, or what have I seen in Africa for traveling for the last 18 years? And it's painful and it hurts to say it. I've seen the foreigners, mainly Asians and European companies and countries, basically build and dominate the continent. And it's the reality of it. And I'm not saying, family, it's not over, but I'm just saying it's not too late. But we're gonna have to just step it up, literally. And
the problem is the Negro-European mentality, you know.
Right.
And what I mean by that is the Afro chic. The problem is Africans have never given African Americans its proper place. You know, they say you guys were there when America was nothing but woods and swamp, and y'all helped build that country. You know, what do y'all know? You know, y'all lived in the industrialized world. In other words, we lived for the last 150 years since slavery. To building America, all the cities you see in America, Detroit, Chicago, Gary, Indiana, Pittsburgh, you know, Newark, New Jersey, New York City, were built by Black people, Black men. We were there. We weren't just somebody passing by. We have a lot to offer the African continent. It's in our blood to build, you know. But instead of out to us when they want to compete with, oh, look, you cannot impress me when I see an Indian company building your highway, building your roads. We have Black construction companies that build highways and roads. You know, we did this shit. You know, brother, Mr. Hightower, man, has his own oil transport company that operates one of the largest oil transport companies in the world, operating out of Akron, Ohio. Black man, started in 1978. You know, he's operating in Africa too. Now I was trying to reach out to him. You know. He operates in Africa too. I think he's in South Africa, you know. But what I'm saying is this, though, Africans should always look to Black America first. But they always have this idea African Americans over here suffer. That's not the truth. Black America is formidable, you know, as far as like everything, you know. We're carrying a lot of these cities. I mean, you come to the state of Virginia, Black people are running shit here, you know. We have a lot of we not only that, sister city projects. Black people have control cities like Cleveland and people like that. Do you know these cities got pension funds and stuff like that they invest overseas and stuff like that? You know, I know this Filipino friend of mine, right? he was sure I was trying to put the Sister City project, and the Sister City project here in Norfolk is abysmal. You know, one of my guys, Ron. I don't know if you met Ron. Ron, older guy. He was supposed to go on your tour with you. Older guy, Ron Whitfield. You know, the BAO. Anyway, I think you talked to him one time. Anyway, he went to the meeting, right? And and I said, well, so what was discussed? And the Ghana situation, he said, all they were talking about was some rights and patches. I'm like, they weren't talking business? No. They said, that's not what we're here for. They were talking about some spirituality, some rights and everything. I said, you got to be kidding me. Now, I go over to my boy JoJo with the Filipinos, right? Do you know the city of Virginia Beach, man, got friggin', the Filipino community got major business deals in the ports of Philippines to the ports of Norfolk and everything. Wow. I said, yeah, the Sister City projects, you know, Sister City project is the biggest thing. That's the thing we got to work on. The Sister City project, what they do is they partner with a sister African city, you know, and they basically have, as far as healthcare, infrastructure, education, all stuff like that, they work together and they find resources to get stuff done. That's the things we need, you know. And not only that, a pension. When you have a city has a pension, right? And they want to invest their pension in a sovereign wealth. You know what sovereign wealth means? That means you invest in developing countries to build roads, infrastructure, and everything. But where is the sovereign wealth of the city that you live in? It's going to countries that people don't look like you. You know, because we don't think about it. We always think the white man, we have the money and the resources available to us, billions and billions of dollars at our disposal, but we have no interest in it, you know? Now, I know some Caribbeans have been taking Sister City Project money and doing stuff in the islands. I know that, you know? Some people from Barbados that live in New York and whatnot, you know, they be getting that New York money to the islands, you know? But we have to have that same zeal as far as like building in Africa, you know? We have to build in Africa, you know? So we have to do that, you know, and that's what this is all about. People who go on these tours, right? Go on the tours of Liberia, whatever city you come from, see if you have this Sister City project that's in your city. You say, okay, I'm going to Monrovia next year.
Right.
Meet with the Liberians on the ground, say, look, we want to work on something.
Good point.
If you're in college, right? If you're in a college, right? Kent State University in Tennessee shipped a whole bunch of laptops to Liberia College. Now, that's not because that's just, as an African American, that's what we're supposed to do. And the way they acted, what I love about it was the Liberians like, this is sent from the University of Tennessee, you know, all stuff like that. There's like that, a whole bunch of laptops for the kids, you know. It was about a few hundred of them, you know, brand new laptops, you know. And so the whole thing is, why are we doing that? Because that's Black power. That's Black people using resources, right, to help other Black people. And we want to channel those things in our community, right? You know what I'm saying? Say, well, call it, man, what about the kids in the city? You know, look, we got kids in this city, right? And I love them to death, right? But the bottom line is where I am at the point now where I'd rather bet on the kids, the youth in Liberia. You know, our youth in America, if they straighten out, they'll be fine. You know, we got libraries in every community, or every public, or every corner. We don't need resources, but we do need those resources in Africa. You know, we need the books. We need libraries built. We need all those things, those things and everything. And these are the type of people we want to attract on our tours. Have a good time when you go to Liberia, but see how we can contribute. You know, each time you link with and I got plenty of Liberian schools and stuff like that need help. You know, my brother Jesse. You know, he's like I went to school when I went to the classroom. Those kids stood up, and I told those kids, I can't help you now, but one day I'm going to be back. You know, and I love you all. You know, I was in tears about the respect these kids. They come to school, they're poor, they don't have nothing, but they want to learn. They want to learn something better. And I told them, love your country, love your people, you know, and we're going to make this happen one day, you know. And so therefore now what we need is our people to stop thinking about Will and Jada and all this kind of foolishness and start thinking about what's important, you know, building a future for our people. If we don't have if everybody else is taking care of their homeland, Italian makes sure his home village in Naples, Italy is taken care of. They do it all the time. The Jews are making sure that the people in Tel Aviv, the city of New York will give this to Israel, give this to the Jews. They got the federal government. Jews only 1% of the population, but yet they got more political pull than any other group in America. We should be the same thing with our African homeland, that you want our vote, you better do right by us and everything. And so therefore, that's why the political dynamic has to change in Black America. If every election cycle, all you're talking about is foolishness and nonsense, and you're not talking about Pan-African stuff, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about no damn reparations and all kinds of stupid nonsense and everything. I do want to hear what you're talking about to change the geopolitical dynamic, which is Africa last, everybody else first. That's what I want to hear. Now, if you're not going to do that, now Congressman Meeks is in Liberia right now. I think that's a good step, but Congressman Meeks needs to follow that with some real things. No strings attached development, or the bottom line is if America's not going to do it, guess what? Well, it's not all lost. We can reach out to Russia. We can reach out to Germany. We can reach out to Iran. We can reach out to North and South Korea. We can reach out to Japan. The bottom line is we are not going to stop. We don't have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies. We only have permanent interests. And whoever's going to help our interests are the ones that we're going to be close to. That's the vantage point of being in Liberia is,
Mm-hmm.
You're like this. I see when I was in Liberia, I see a white American guy and whatnot. We ain't got nothing to talk about. Don't tell me, oh yeah, American, you get your American fucking shit out of here. I'm like this, man. A Japanese man want to sit down and talk. Hey, fine with it. America. Nigga, get the fuck out of here, man. If anybody wants to talk to me while I'm in Africa, I will talk to them. If you got something that you want to invest in, you want to build and everything like that, you want to help and build this country and everything, I am all for you. I'm not beholden to America. Now I do, since we're here, but I don't really think it's going to happen on a federal level. I do believe city by city, state by state, we could basically, because I think all countries are looking for a sister city project. Why? Because when Liberia begins to give out contracts, right? And let's say the city of Toledo, Ohio, has been giving Liberia a lot of money and for development and stuff like that, right? Well, let's say it's this engineering firm out of Toledo, Ohio wants that thing, man. We might just give them a no bid contract. That's the way it works. You've been helping us, we'll help you. You're giving training and you're educating Liberian youth, 11 African American youth who are in the Pan-African program. Hey, if you want to help us out and everything, if you want to partner with us and build and teach and everything, hey, that's fine. But if you want to sit back and think that America, because you're America and you're going to dictate this, you want to dictate to Black people what to do and everything, them days are over. Right now, half of all African countries abstain from voting against Russia in the UN. That's progress. That's progress. Africa's finally freaking waking up. What do you have to? You have nothing to lose. Europe has Africa by the balls with debt and everything else and everything. Now Europe is on its knees with Russia and everything. Now Africa's like, hey, what do you want us to do? You've been fighting us, removing our leaders, calling them dictators, fighting us every step of the way. Now you want us to come fight for y'all? And some fools are over there fighting. You got the first Africans are being killed in the war in Ukraine. These fools are over there fighting because they say, oh, life is over there. It's bad when life is so bad in Africa that you got to go to a war front just to get 3 meals a day. It's just sad, really freaking sad.
Yeah, brother, that's definitely sad because don't we have civil unrest and struggles in Africa?
We have all kinds of unrest in Africa.
We have strong, able Black men out there that's willing to go to Europe to fight. I mean, what about our continent? It's just like when we talk about the brain drain, so many of our best people have been stolen from the continent, but now we have our own people literally volunteering to leave and things like that. So that's one of the issues that we're telling people that family. The reason why our content is not as strong as it is these are the situations. So when the Africans in the diaspora are looking to reconnect to the African continent, the governments and the different countries have to open things up because we're the missing link. We're the part of the African continent. Once we come together, we can make certain moves because literally the continent cannot operate for the last 700 years strong with the best people leaving. And you tell people that that's literally the situation.
Yeah.
And
also there's an old Japanese proverb.
right.
It says, instead of fighting over the rice bowl, right, one should increase the size of the bowl, so everybody eats. The problem in Africa is this idea of Africa has a scarcity mentality. Like every African, I had to tell Africans, I don't want to hold public office. I would like, if I hold public office, it's going to be in our own state one day, But I'm not coming to get you a little government job, I know how y'all like a white collar job with a tie on and whatnot, That's the only thing Africans covet, It's that they don't like skilled trades and everything. There's no trade unions, everything. They don't build themselves up like we do with skilled trades and everything. That's the difference, right? They think they want their degrees on the wall and whatnot, And basically, and get a government job and something like that to look big, and so they can steal money and graft and corrupt. So there was a guy in Cameroon who stole millions of dollars who faked his death. You heard about that?
No.
They just reached and caught him the other day. Phil and the African Diaspora channel was talking about it. He faked his death, but they found him. He stole millions of dollars. Every time I look around, you're stealing millions of dollars from the people on the continent and everything. You going off to Europe and everything, and selling and going off and with your Asian wives and your Asian girlfriends and your European girlfriends and everything. And it's nonsense. We don't want to engage in that. So we have an honest attempt to try to build Africa, build something for the Black race and everything. And people who listen to the show can see the sincerity and the passion in our voice and everything. And it's still like, oh, y'all sound like colonizers, while you're being colonized and raped and robbed by your own people, Europeans, everybody else, you got to focus on us. Like we're doing something wrong. And the problem is that, I'm going to be honest with you, right? As an African American, right? When I was in Liberia, I realized that I'm in a privileged position. And that's why I really don't go too hard about citizenship and stuff like that. Because, be honest with you, when I was in Liberia, I felt like, damn, I don't really need a citizenship. When the way people treat me is like, shit, man, like, damn, it's like I'm a king or a president, and they listen to hang on to my every word and everything like that. And I'm saying to myself, man, I could do anything I want in this country. What do I need a piece of paper saying I'm a citizen? Man, I know you need it for travel and everything like that. But like when I was in Liberia, it was like, wow, man. People are like, yeah, I got people listening to me like, wow, I can't wait till more people like you come and, and settle here and build and, stuff like that. This is what we need. And so, yeah, so this is this is what we're talking about. So what we're trying to do is make an honest attempt, right, to build with Africa. And like I said, I do believe that Liberia is a perfect place to launch from Africa, to launch to the continent. Because God's willing, one day, I'm not gonna put it out there what we're doing and everything, how it's going, but one day we're gonna have the resources to build this Pan-African epicenter in Liberia. And we're gonna have representatives from every African country there. It's going to be people from the diaspora there. Everyone's going to be represented. We're going to have protocol, quorum, everything, and it's going to be so powerful that, we're going to be like the Bilderberg group, we're going to decide what goes on the continent and stuff like that. We need that. We don't have that. These shallow, fake African Union, these past Pan-African stuff and everything hasn't done it. We need a real discussion on infrastructure. We can't have all these friggin' degree holder people, coming there showing off, and it's all. You ever see these people, Bomani? They're all. You're in a room full of people, and everybody's putting on airs like they're so educated, and they're so this and so that. That's like, if you guys were so educated and everything, why are the Chinese out there building your friggin' roads? Why I got Indians all over the place building this? I look in Zambia and whatnot, and I'm not going to say the Indians. I know Indians do good work, and I don't. Anybody that's not black is a problem, But given that, okay, I'll leave one eye open when I'm looking at the Indians. Okay, you're not that bad, but you understand. Don't push it. But at the same time, I'm saying, okay, the trucking in Zambia. Why is a trucking firm, driving from South Africa to Zambia? You mean to tell me we can't own our own trucking? We got black people. You know how many black people in America that own their own trucking companies? You know, own their own trucking companies and everything. We do this stuff. You know, railway engineers. You know, we do this stuff over here in America. What do you need, the Indians? We need black African infrastructure. And the whole thing is we have to do this. But then again, the Indians are backed by India. So we're going to have it so that whatever we need, the black people in America, see, the whole thing is there's no political will to develop or invest in Africa. America has no interest in Africa, not whatsoever. America just sent billions of dollars to Ukraine. America sends billions of dollars to Europe every year. America tried the Trans-Pacific Partnership, you know. America's every place but Africa, right? But
yes, serious.
But when you look at Africa, right, Africans, what America doesn't care about you. Why you keep caring about what America thinks? You know, why do you care? Like Liberia just voted the other day to condemn Russia. Like every other African country is abstaining, and Liberia felt pressure by America to vote against Russia. That has to stop. We got to tell Africans, Liberian and African countries, we got your back. Don't worry about what America thinks, you know. We got your back in America. And we have to be like, look, man, you keep your hands off Liberia. Let it be a sovereign country and vote for itself. You know, and so we have to do that. And so it's just sad. There are still sanctions on Zimbabwe. Why? You know, why do we still have sanctions on Zimbabwe? You know, Obama, first black so-called president, extended the sanctions to appease the British so they wouldn't drop out of the Brexit situation. You know, we're taking L's all over the place. You know, put this buffoon in office twice, you know, and he turns around and stabs us in the back. And then had some black men that were lobbying for Zimbabwe arrested. That was your president, Barack Hussein Obama. And then had it so that Gaddafi was taken out. Gaddafi was going to buy the Ducor Hotel, renovate $50 million, renovate the Ducor Hotel in Liberia. You know, and all this we lost just like that in a blink of an eye 12 years ago. And so I asked the question, man. So bottom line is we have to be more diligent, you know, about our parents. But the good news is there's been a lot of African Americans who are going to Liberia, going to Ghana, the year of return, stuff like that. And we have social media. We're thankful for the African Diaspora channel, you know, Phil Scott and stuff like that, what he's doing and stuff like that, keeping an eye on U.S. policy in Africa. They cannot do what they did 10 years ago under the radar because we're watching, you know, and it's going to have political ramifications in America. So that's a good thing about all this. That's why we got to put our differences aside and focus on the thing of building and protecting Africa. Building and protecting Africa. So like I said, we have a long ways to go, but I think we're on the right track. And for the comments in the comment section, yeah, you know, Samari Kaba Nebi Aunt said, that's right. Over in America, we start the free African school. Yes. You know, and bottom line is we've been doing Pan-African stuff for 400 years. Liberia was 200 years in the making. And this movement that we're doing right now is 400 years in the making. Our ancestors always wanted to know what it's like to go home from the source of all the problems. Africa's weakness on the world stage is a source of racism and the problem that we have in America. You know, that's the source of it. You cannot solve it. Well, let's fall. No. As long as Randall Robinson once said, it says, as long as Africa's down, the black man in America is going to be down. There's no way of getting around it. You know, wherever you see poverty in the world, in Africa, in America, it's all connected. You know, it's connected because we don't have our own infrastructure, you know? We don't have that. We have to basically man up and say, look, it's time for us to build our motherland and build our continent, right? It's not going to be easy. See the people coming at us, right? And and you think that's bad, you haven't seen anything yet. You know, these Negroes gonna come out of the woodworks and everything like that. You know, and what do they got left? What do they got left? You know, what do they have? You know, they got nothing. What do you see black people talking about? Will and Jada, you know, Chris Rock, and all stuff like this. You know, 24 hours a day, all you concerned about is what Will Smith did on the Oscars. He made us look bad. Who cares about the goddamn Oscars?
Drama. Yeah, and that's what we're saying, brother. We got to
Drama,
get ourselves literally this focus, because, like you mentioned, we have the talent here in the diaspora. We definitely do. But as far as organizing the energy together, like, you know, I always tell people about that beautiful book, Blueprint for Black Power by Dr. Amos Wilson. You know, and he's literally just putting those things in perspective as far as organizing our skills, talents, intelligence, and literally just putting us in a situation where we can just build our own conglomerate operation in Africa. And that's it. So we just literally have to just start working on strategic ways to put our people together and consolidate our resources, because literally the issue, brother, is the fact that we've not been able to figure that out at a high level, because all you have is this consistent division, and things like that. Like even people like myself that's working on certain things, you're working and you're organizing your group, and by the time you turn around, you're getting stabbed in the back. You got people literally just sabotaging the movement and things like that consistently. And you're telling people, like, when you guys are doing this, what you're doing is destroying the future of our black children. Because you and I are up there in age, our brother, and then many of us are up there in age. But it's like, what about our children? So you're telling people, like, you're literally fighting against me, and we're literally working on things that's going to put our children here from the diaspora and the ones on the continent in a better situation. Because, like I was telling my son earlier today, I was asking him about studying, and that's, you know, because I was telling him when I was younger and I first came from Jamaica in America, that I spent a lot of my time here studying. You know, most of the time just trying to learn American English, or just trying to just, you know, get caught up into this, the way the things flowing here, because I came here at the 6th grade. So, you know, you come in the middle of like this, your education in another country, and it's like we have to take these things as priority. But I remember this, the work and the study ethics. I just don't see that in the children of today and things like that. And even when we, like, I don't remember ever saying that you know, that I'm not interested in going to school, or that I'm not learning anything in school. But now if I ask any of the children here on the street that I'm at, or just in general, these are the things that they tell us. And like literally I have a disinterest in education. So, you know, we have to come up with also different methods of just getting them engaged. Like one of the things I always talk about is getting them more involved in technical and business administration, learning the foundation of how the world runs and things like that. Because every time you turn around, it's just business groups, and you see all these technology folks here, this enterprising and things like that. So that's what I'm telling folks, like, literally, family, you're literally sabotaging the future of your children. Anyone who literally come against us, like that person that came on today, just run their mouth off and everything. It's like, it doesn't matter if I'm connecting and doing business in Africa. If I'm doing certain things in Africa, well, you can do certain things here, and we can make it work. We can, like I tell people, we can do
right. No one's stopping you from doing
industries in different places and connect, trade, make moves and everything. We have no choice. It's either we do this, or we literally become slaves to everybody else in the world. And then for the people telling me that white people are gonna die out, I don't care if it's World War III or IV in Europe, and East Europe or West Europe wipe each other out, or they all wipe each other out. Only thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna inherit a new slave master. You know, and tell people, like, there's nations like China, India, and Arab nations there. You know,
they're ready to come in.
Slave master. So stop worrying about who's going to die out, or Europe have a negative birth rate. It doesn't matter if Europe have a negative birth rate. It doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that we put these skills and resources together and build conglomerate corporations, get into, industrial development. And that's why I tell people, when people ask me about why I'm so into this getting land in Africa, because land is the base of independence. Like when we build this movement in Liberia and we acquire all this land and everything, factories, because one of the things is Monrovia is basically, most of the people seem like in Liberia live in Monrovia. So what that does is create opportunities for us to expand outside the country. Because one thing I did really, really like about Liberia is when he started sending me the videos and the documentation for other parts outside of Monrovia. And I'm telling people that's the same thing in all African countries. You have one or two main parts of the countries, and too much people are living in there. So you basically like working over the infrastructure. Like in a like example, Accra, Ghana, that city is, it cannot take the amount of people that's building into that city, because infrastructure was never organized correctly in the first place. Because when the British built these infrastructure, they just built it to rob the country, or whether the French or whatever. So I'm telling folks, that's where we had family. So join and get with us and connect with us so we can do this together. And then family, anyone that's out there that's against what we're doing, we want our own people to check these people, because what they're doing is literally getting in our way. Like I'm always telling people, you're getting in our way, you're getting in the way of the future of your own people. So that means if you do that, you're a self-hating Negro. And so family, the rest of us need to check these people and keep them out of our way. Now, where's the support? Where's our backup? Where's the people that's gonna help us get to the level we need to get to?
Yeah, we don't do this just for entertainment, folks. So
Exactly.
bottom line, like I said, over the next year, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be building up, and it's going to get intense this thing, because like I said, this right here is going to be the second coming of the Garvey movement. You know, that's why I bill it as, right. Garvey go there in 1923, 24, whatever. You know, and the bottom line is we're the second coming of this, right. And then when, not if, when we establish on the ground in Liberia. I say, well, what's all about Liberia? The bottom line is this: unlike other countries in Africa, right, where you got, okay, we're here, we're foreigners. When you're in Liberia, you're gonna feel part of the. I'm telling you, when you go to Liberia the first time, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna like, damn. You feel like you almost like didn't leave America, like Black America, and you're gonna feel like, damn. So I'm in Africa right now, but I'm still connected to this Pan-African thought process. It's not foreign in Liberia. And so therefore you're going to be like, okay, people understand, the average person will understand exactly what you're talking about. When you start talking about Marcus Garvey, Du Bois, or whoever, Malcolm X, they're going to know who you're talking about. When you talk about different music and everything, the music and the culture, even though there's most Afro beats are played there and everything, they still know all about Black music, Black movies, television, everything, So you got that advantage, you're not like a foreigner, it's not like you're a foreigner, it's like, because there's a lot of Liberians who go back, what they call Decembers. These go back in December, and they go back all the time. And you got Liberians that were born in America, thousands, tens of thousands of them went out, and they're going back and everything. So in the mix of all this, right, it's hard to decide who's a Liberian and who's not, and so you fit right in. That's the beauty about it, right? And the whole thing is, and you got the African traditional culture right there too, all in one place. And so therefore, that's an excellent place to show. Liberia is like New York, like it's like a melting pot. Like they call America the melting pot. Liberia is a melting pot. You got all these different tribes. You got all these different Black people, nationalities, all in one place. It's a melting pot, and that's that's a beauty about the culture. And that's a fertile ground for building a Pan-African world. You
So you also saying there's other African nationals there in Liberia.
Other African nationals. There's Ethiopians there. There's Somalis there. There's everything there. It's everything under the sun there. And so they're all living and working in Monrovia and stuff like that. There's Ghanaians there. There's Nigerians there. There's everything there. So it's like an African melting pot, a cosmopolitan African melting pot. So therefore it's like there's no one person that's oh, this is Liberian, so that's what's the beauty about it. That's an excellent place to build a sort of movement where you have a mass following of people who understand the Pan-African ideology. We cannot force Pan-Africans on people who basically are just really tribal. That's just the reality. People just, oh, I'm Yoruba, Nigerian. They don't want to hear about that. You don't want to hear about Pan-Africanism. But Liberia, you do got a place where it's very Pan-African in structure, because Liberians are used to seeing foreigners, foreign Black people in their country, and so it's nothing new to them. The whole country was founded on the idea of Black people coming and building. So therefore, it's an excellent place for the Pan-African movement. And so that's what I said. Once we on the ground, like I said, my life work is to build that Pan-African epicenter, One day I'm gonna get that $10 million to build that. And it's gonna have a communication center. It's gonna have an auditorium. It's gonna have everything. It's gonna be all the place. It's gonna have a banquet hall. It's gonna have everything. It's gonna have have a hotel. For guests and everything. And that's the place I want to build. It's gonna have a STEM school. It's gonna have all that shit. That's what I want to build. That's my vision. And it's gonna have all the best minds of the African world coming together, study politics, science, industry, and bottom line, anything that we put our mind to, we do. When I played the video, the Pung Lloyd group, I want to see something like the Pung Lloyd group one day headquartered out of Monrovia, made up of young engineers, scientists coming from all over the continent and all over the diaspora to work together. That's why I played the Pung Lloyd group. That's my vision. That's what we have to do. If there's something that we could build on contract of the Congo has a contract to build a road or a highway or a railway, we have the engineers that can do it. Or we could partnership where we're supplying most of the engineers and stuff like that ourselves, and we could partner. But there should be in the future, our goal should be one day we build all the infrastructure ourselves. But the goal for the next 20 years, at least to be able to build half or partner with half of most of the infrastructure. We have to show our people that we can do this, because the self-esteem of the African youth is they think only people white skin. Right now, I told this, that there's foreigners like Chinese there was Chinese that came into Kenya, right? They built a bridge that was collapsed. Come to find out, these guys weren't even from China. They were from Southeast Asia somewhere. And they posed as Chinese engineers, right? And they got contracts. And the Kenyans just didn't vet them and didn't check them out and everything. They built a bridge that collapsed, because people took it that, oh yeah, the Chinese, they must know what they're doing. They must know what they talk about, They must know what they talk about, they must know what they talk about. We see anybody with light skin and long hair and stuff like that, we automatically assume, oh man, they're coming from a superior civilization. They don't understand the same books of engineering that they read. You can read. Science and math is universal. It doesn't really. This one thing why black people understand something. If we say that we created mathematics and science and all stuff like this, then why the fuck is everybody else's uncle doing all the engineering work in Africa? If Africa is where we claim it all came from, oh yeah, we built the pyramids, we built the Sphinx and all stuff like that. We gave the world science, method, blah, 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 blah. Why is it that the only people in the world that got to rely on somebody else? And I'm saying to myself, I'm seeing even people from countries like Bolivia, once backward third world countries, are going to Africa building shit. Come the fuck on, man. Come on, man. Bolivia, Guatemala building something in Africa. Come on, man. Does it get any more humiliating? And the whole thing is this, because the African man, we learned one thing. We have to learn how to swallow our pride. And then when we do, and then what gets me is when you have the people like the Pung Lloyd group, they're very humble. Everybody else that can build great things, they're very humble. Africans, black people, we build nothing. We're so full of pride. So full of pride. We're so proud, man. Don't tell me and whatnot, You ain't gonna get one up on me, African Americans. Who y'all think y'all are? Yeah. I mean, you got nothing, and you're so proud.
Well, I mean, what I get from people is like, I hear the key word, we built this, we built America. That's what I hear. I hear these words. Some people, they feel that way. Let's build what we need to build in Africa with our own people.
Yeah, and they say, oh, we can't do that.
That has not happened yet. People still living in the past as far as what our ancestors did and things like that. It's like, okay, when our ancestors built what they built, what about us? What about us in this current generation?
And our ancestors built this for other people, And what I like about Liberia is the Liberians built the country for themselves. That's what I love about Liberia.
Perfect.
They built the country. They built everything. When you go to Monrovia, you see the right there near Snapper Hill, and you go up there by off of where the executive building is. You're gonna say to yourself, how the hell they build this? Right? It was on rocks and cliffs. How they build the roads that go down and whatnot? I said, this is an engineering feat. You're gonna say to yourself, wow. how Monrovia is built and whatnot, on rocks and everything. I'm like, wow, how'd they do this? How they build the Ducor Hotel? How they build those monuments all the way up there and shit like that? You're gonna be like, damn, And he says so, and they did this. They didn't build this for no white man. They built it for themselves. They cared. You see all of the mansions that on the St. Paul River, those communities that they built along the St. Paul River. You're like, yo, these people built these things themselves. They had their own families, their own homesteads. Liberian men always produce like 20 kids apiece. They had their kids working on their farms and whatnot. And stuff like that. They were free. That's why we go talking about Liberia. We're celebrating Black freedom.
Yeah, you're talking about 200 years, brother. That's impressive. 200 years. I mean, it's just something we definitely have to reconnect back to.
And Europeans look at when there's some white people there. I see this one white guy there, and I don't know. I guess he recognized that I was African American, right? And he's like looking at me like some old white man whatnot in the street. I'm like, I think I remember him from Facebook, right? I think he recognized me. It was the way he was looking at me, And I looked at him like, what the hell are you looking at? He was on Clay Street, right? And by Camp Johnson Road, right? And I looked at him like, I might say to myself, and he was looking at the African Methodist Episcopal Church, right? I was taking pictures of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, right? And I'm saying to myself, man, looked at him like, you just ruined my friggin' shot, I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm seeing Liberian school children walking, beautiful and everything. I'm looking at the AME Church, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, was formed in America. And I got this white guy sitting there looking at me like, I'm like, dude, you're not wanted, I'm like looking at him like, go away, you just ruined my whole freaking vibe, man. I'm just sitting there just feeling this. I'm like, oh man, I can just imagine our ancestors lived there, man. Oh wow, man. I'm looking at these buildings. I'm like, wow. And I'm this white guy just looking at me like, dude, man, these people don't care about what you have to say. I know you're over here trying to preach the American gospel. Well, white people, Black people don't care. This is time for Pan-Africanism. You have no place here. I say, how about this? Go over to Ghana, go over to Nigeria, Liberia did it for 200 years without you. They don't need you. What do you got to say? They did it without you. Now that's why we're going to make
point, brother. No, so what's going to be our contribution?
Our contribution is going to be building, contributing, connecting, and all that. You don't have to start from there. All you have to really do is connect with the Liberians on the ground. I tell people all the time. This is another thing. I see African Americans, right? They always go to Africa and they're like, okay, let's just start from scratch. I know you have to do it in other countries, right? In Liberia, you don't have to do that, In Liberia, you just connect with the people on the ground and everything like that, You got people that'll tell you everything you need to know, and they're all with it, because a lot of them got relatives in America, and so I'm telling you, it's going to be the easiest thing for us, to build, to connect. Majority of Liberians want to be part of Black America. When I was in Liberia, right, on the radio station, right, there was a radio station. This guy's just quoting Martin Luther King, Malcolm X all day. Dr. King this, Dr. King that, Malcolm X, and Marcus Garvey. And I said, man, this is the place I need to be. I don't hear this in America. The guy was just proselytizing, man. Then you got the other guy, Prophet Key, Prophet Key. He's a little off the wall, but he believes the Black America coming to Liberia is like the Jews is a true Israelites, He's one of Israelite brothers in Liberia, And so basically you got all that going on, man. It's like, man, the bottom line is Liberians don't mind you coming. They don't mind you settling there. It's very friendly to us in the diaspora and everything. You would have a good time and you'll connect with people on the ground that really love you and support you, And they always say, welcome home. They don't say, welcome to our home. They'll say, welcome home. Yeah, you're home. Yeah, you're home. And so basically, it's like every African American coming to Liberia, it's just like a Liberian that's just been away for 400 years, And it doesn't even matter what part of Africa you came from. They just treat you like, okay, yeah, you're home. You're home. This is where you're supposed to be, And I was like, man, that's all I wanted to hear, that I'm loved and accepted someplace. And so I'm loving what we're trying to do and what we're going to build. And like I said, we're on the ground. We're going to be connected with Liberian transport people. We're going to be tour guides. We're going to be putting people to work. We're going to be buying stuff. When you go there, make sure you bring money to buy arts and crafts. You don't come to Africa return with your arts and crafts, you know?
Absolutely, brother. And as that's what I'm showing people, like the 9-day tour highlights. And you know, and letting people know we're still working on the day-to-day itinerary, but we literally covered a whole lot, you know. And I want to say you seen most of these highlights when you went to Liberia.
Yes.
You know, because I want us to start closing out, but I want us to just like go back over
the Grand Masonic Temple
highlights.
Masonic Temple on Benson Street is a friggin' beautiful building. Now, when I went there, did you see that video? I went there. The guy was like, "Man, you can't come in here." Now, if I would have gave him some small, let me tell you something about small means a couple of dollars. Yeah, I didn't know that. The next day, I went to the Ducor, and I got some small, and it got me in. You know, some small goes a long way. You know,
you gotta get that tipping money, brother. You know,
I didn't know that right at first, right? That guy was like, "You can't take pictures, man." I was like, "What's he doing up there?" He's up there like, "No, man, you can't go." The old Masonic Temple, you know, beautiful building. From that building, right, major deals in Africa were struck, you know. That's the beauty about Liberia. Liberia, the politics in Africa was in the hands of Liberia for generations, you know. All the heads of state in Africa and post-colonial Africa went to Liberia. Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, all of them came to Kenneth Kaunda, Nnamdi Azikiwe of Nigeria. All these people studied in Liberia, studied in Monrovia, studying in West and whatnot, and they were like, "Yo, this is what we wanted." Liberia was proof that they could build their own country and govern themselves. And so the Grand Masonic Temple is built. They got another one in Maryland County. You know, that's another thing. We got to make another trip to Maryland County, Liberia. Maryland has its own history, you know, and Mississippi and Liberia, the Sino County, Mississippi and the Greenville section is connected with Greenville, Mississippi. You know, beautiful country, beautiful coastline, and endless possibility for development, endless possibility. You know, I mean, I just really see us building communities and smart cities and some of everything in Liberia and making that a world-class state, a world-class power. People don't realize this. Do you know that Monrovia, the Ducor Hotel was so powerful one time, right? In the early 70s, when game shows in America, when Black Contest was on there, you're going to the Ducor Hotel in Monrovia, Liberia. That was on certain game shows in the 70s. The Ducor Hotel was a 5-star hotel in West Africa. It was beautiful, overlooking the ocean. Beautiful. Before the war and destroyed this country. But we're rebuilding from 2023 is going to be the New Testament.
Yeah, and also you mentioned Liberia has been very, very stable.
Stable.
Over the last several years.
Several years. It's not going anywhere. The country's on lock. You know, give me an example. This guy named Henry Costa, man, he didn't get elected, right? In the last senatorial election. He was a talk radio host on that, but he didn't win, right? So he started complaining about George Weah. When George Weah is a soccer player, he's a hero. His wife's a Jamaican, you know, and also it's another way to cut where she's been building a lot of ties between Jamaica and Liberia.
Beautiful.
You know, and so anyway, that's another Pan-African marriage because a lot of people say, "How could George Weah marry a non-Liberian?" People are like, "Shut up," you know, all these stupid tribal.
That's actually a good thing because we need to literally understand that, you know, we're all African people across the globe, and literally try to work that to where, like I mean, think about it. What do the Chinese people in Africa or Jamaica or wherever call themselves? Chinese,
right? Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, I've never met any Chinese people anywhere in the world that call themselves other than Chinese, and but I've met Black African people who call themselves all kind of things: Jamaicans, Trinidadian,
German,
African Americans, German.
They call it French and French.
We call ourselves all kind of stuff. And it's the same thing with Indians. You know, I've never met a group of people from India that call themselves anything other than Indian. So when we tell people like family, this stuff we're saying is literally serious. Like we have to stop this foolishness. We're literally just destroying our energy. So the fact that the president of Liberia did that is a great move. And the fact that we have brothers and sisters from the African diaspora marrying into different.
Oh, well, wait till you meet the president. two people you're gonna love, Bomani, is the Jules Howard Shepherd. She's a vice president. That's
Right.
Charles Taylor's wife. Remember the picture I showed you? I was hanging out with Charles Taylor's son. Looked just like him. You know.
You talking about
And
Charles Taylor? Somebody else named Charles Taylor.
Charles Taylor was the president sitting in the UK jail and whatnot. You know, unjustly.
Oh, you talking about that? Are you talking about that Charles Taylor? His wife?
Charles Taylor. Charles Taylor's wife. She's a vice president.
Right.
She's a Pan-Africanist like you won't believe, man. Like I said. So you'll definitely hit it off with her and the president's wife and stuff like that. Once they know about you and what you're trying to do, they're gonna give you the keys to the country, bro. Trust me.
We're gonna build that relationship, and I'm saying, family. I know we're building this thing little by little, but family, bear with us, work with us, and even support the energy of what we're building, because that's the kind of research people like myself do. In Africa, we go to a country and we build the documentation, we share with our people in the diaspora, and things like that. So the only thing we tell people, we're not limiting ourselves to 1 or 2 countries anymore. We're literally looking to build an energy to where we have at least a good 10 African countries that we can really do some good business with, and also connect those countries to what we're doing in the Caribbean and here in America and so on. And we just literally we're looking at ourselves as to where we can build this thing to where one day we're all African nationals, regardless of wherever you are as an African person. We're
all part of the same
nation passport. These are the things that we want to work towards, because like I mentioned to you, family, the Chinese, the Indians, and all these other people, they literally don't do what we're doing. We have literally, we've been divided as a people, but we keep on re-dividing ourselves.
Chinese don't care about nothing. They're in Ghana right now, illegally gold mining. They're taking millions of dollars of gold. They're leaving half Chinese babies behind. They don't give a fuck. We're doing things the right way, and we're black, and we're getting static. Man, what the hell is going on?
There you go.
Chinese just coming to Africa, and I was in Liberia, right? The Chinese are freaking taking, having little Liberian children. First day I was there, I said, "What are these kids doing?" It was like when I first landed. We went to the beach. My first taste of the African Ocean. It was 12 o'clock at night, and it's these kids. I'm like, "What are you doing?" Oh, I got delivering sand, right? Bags of sand, right, to the Chinese and whatnot. So I got to pay for my school fees. Yeah, I can't. We got to end this stuff, man. We got.
I guess because they have those they have those sweatshops and things like that in China. I guess they figure they come to Africa and put our children into child labor.
Right. They don't care about their own people. So what do you think they're gonna care about us?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna fight for African minimum wage. An African minimum wage. If you're a business, right? If you can't pay somebody at least $50 a day, don't open a business. $50 a day is nothing. Try to open up a manufacturing, and try to see what after you pay healthcare costs and $25 an hour for each person and whatnot. If you can't pay somebody $35, $50 a day, man, then shut up, man. You can get so much work done in Liberia with that money, because they're like, that's good money over there, The guy told me, man, if he could make $500 a month, he's straight. He's straight. He said, if I could make $500 a month, man, I'm straight. I could get myself a family, everything. And also, I meet like young Liberian brother. When do you ever go? And I'll have me walking on the street, right? I was in the back alley, Bomani, right? In Old Town, right? And I'm hanging out there with some of the guys, man. They say, yeah, what's going on, man? The guy's like, I want to come to America, man. And they tell me, man, a lot of Liberians tell me, man, they said they miss Charles Taylor. They said when Charles Taylor was here, man, we had jobs and stuff, it was better. Anyway, but they were telling me, man, they said, man, all we want is jobs. Now, these are guys in their 20s. I never hear dudes in America say, everybody in America, they want to get their guap. They want to get paid. They want to get rich. They're trying to do or die, going to jail, doing illegal shit. These Liberians say, yo, they just want a good job. That's all. I'll work hard. I'll do a good job. I said, man, that's doable. So you telling me that we need stuff manufactured. You got a sneaker line that you want to be produced, right? You can set up your factory in Liberia. You got a clothing line where you can set up your factory in Liberia. You got people that could work for cheap. You pay them well to give them a meal a day, meal a day and stuff like that. Transport. You provide transportation and a meal a day and whatnot, and you're good. You can get your stuff made for 20% of what it cost you in any other country. And you can ship it to America, and then you could probably hire more people and pay higher wages. So the bottom line is this. What I'm saying is this. The same way the Asians do it, right? We need to build our own business class, our business class. Why? Because if we don't build our own African business class, right, they're going to always look to Europeans, Arabs, everybody as the job providers, And so that's what's happening in the black world. 90% of black people in the world work for somebody else, We don't work for ourselves. We don't work for black-owned companies. Not here in America, not in Africa. A lot of time in Africa, instead of building black-owned companies, right, everybody wants a government job. That's not sustainable. So we have to build black infrastructure, black African infrastructure. That means industries, business, finance, all the stuff like that. And we're going to do this. And I do believe Liberia is going to be the place where we could do this, right? Because we're going to have high-level connections and everything. And I know we're going to meet people that's, hey, you know something? I've been working on Wall Street for years. I think we could build this stock exchange. Let me call Brother Bomani. Yeah, okay. We're looking for that, and I'll be able to plug them in with the right people. And let's make that happen. But that's why I said these platforms, that's how we come professional tonight. And we sound professional. We're not just we're not the typical Pan-Africans talking all the sun, moon, and star shit. We're talking about black African infrastructure.
Yes, straight nation building, family, absolutely. Building a future for our children. Literally.
If you're that type of person, you want to get with people that's believe in business and professionalism and industry, and the bottom, I hate to say this, man, or people don't like to say it. Yes, we believe in the capitalist system. Capitalism ain't going nowhere. We have to master this shit. We have to build our own financial system up. The white man ain't gonna one day roll over and everything's gonna be. No, we have to build our own banks. Black people in banking are the worst thing in the world. Is black people in bank. We can't seem to get that together. That's one of the things a black man can't get together in America is banks. Our biggest bank just now only has $1 billion in assets. That's a shame. That's a freaking crying shame. And the whole thing is this: if those black banks would start investing in Africa in infrastructure, those banks will grow overnight. But you can't compete with a thing. Now, there's some black banks in here that I'm Killer Mike and black banks. But I don't know if the future is like you've been listening to Dynasty when he was talking about. I know you got to go, but when Dynasty was talking about the situation with as far as black people at homes. Look, black people are being priced out in America, even in places like Georgia. I'm lucky I got my house right before the market went up like last year. I bought my house for $400,000, right? $400,000, right? Now it's worth like $600.
Sweet.
I'm never gonna be able to buy another house anytime soon. But I'll tell you right now is you got people. Diane showed this one thing where they had an open house right in Atlanta somewhere for $300,000. The car line was around the block. Everybody trying to get this one house. That's how big it is. The house wasn't even that big. So housing prices, you're being priced out of America, man. It's not going to come down, man. With American inflation right now, man, is the American petrodollar might be in peril, man. We might have to be going to yuan, or crypto in the future, because American real estate is hyperinflated. In San Francisco, every house is like $1 million. You got to have $100,000, make $100,000 just to live a subsistence life. So America is spending all this money, printing all this money. It's becoming unsustainable. And that's why people are cracking up. People are shooting each other. People are going crazy, because that's what America is. So we have to basically invest in something else. If you build a house, you could build a house in Liberia, a nice house in Liberia for under $50,000. A nice house. A big house. A bigger house than you build in America for $50,000. You got your own property or a half acre of land, whatever like that, or acre of land you can get for cheap. You could spend for $3,000, you can get for an acre and a half. For $5,000, you get 2 acres. That's a steal. So when you get that land in upcountry, it's even cheaper. But if you want to live near the coast or the airport, that's what the price is right now. You build a house, get a floor plan, build a house and everything. You got investment. I wish Spirits in Liberia could be on here. He got a couple of houses up right now. This guy's been listening to me for years. He went to Liberia, and he got a couple of houses up now. And so the bottom line, you can get a beachfront property. That's yours. You got the deed on it. As long as you pay your taxes, you got the deed on it. And so therefore, if things go bad, you make your money in America, put it in Africa. We want to have it so, Bomani, that we convince an African-American bank to open up an office in Africa so we could have our money in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Imagine having your money, being able to take your money out of America and put it in Africa. These are the things that's going to transform Africa and transform everything. We have to do this. Why?
Absolutely.
Because bottom line is you're not going to be able to retire in America no more. You're not going to be able to live in America in the future. Live well. You're going to be renting for the rest of your life. You're not going to have anything. So that's why I said we go to, like, if they'll say when you talk about Liberia, that we want to have it so that, let's say you want to take a vacation in South Africa. You shouldn't have to come all the way from DC or New York. You should be able to fly from Monrovia to Johannesburg. You're already on the continent. And if you're doing business on the continent, why do we always got to come back to America? Shouldn't we have a country in Africa where we could say, I'm going to spend a year over here? You got that in Liberia. It's not that far. It's right across the Atlantic. Pretty soon there's going to be direct flights from the United States to Liberia once again, And so therefore, we're going to basically have it all that. So therefore, where Liberia's proximity is, you got the proximity to South America, Brazil, right across the Atlantic. Right now, there's a strait right across the Atlantic. You got the proximity to the Caribbean, proximity to Europe, and you got a proximity to the rest of the continent. So therefore, that's the perfect place to launch a Pan-African movement.
That's serious.
That's what's there. So, like I said, as more African Americans come to Liberia, and people realize that's the country where you want to meet African Americans or get involved with Pan-Africanism, you're gonna have more Africans coming to Liberia to meet us. And that's how we're gonna build this thing. We'll have a global thing. And that's what's gonna make Liberia powerful, because Liberia is gonna be the country where everybody comes to meet. I can't see any other country. Every other country is wrapped up in the Commonwealth and all these other politics and stuff like that. Liberia is the only country that's not part of the Commonwealth. It's never been colonized and everything. The only people that's ever colonized and settled Liberia is Black America. So that's the country that's going to speak for us in the future. That's the country that's going to be the voice of our Pan-African movement. That's the way it has to be. People say, "Oh man, my country. Look, Nigeria's shown us. I love Nigeria, but it's shown us that it's not capable.
Sure.
Ghana's shown us that it's not capable. It's a beautiful country. These are beautiful countries, but as far as the work we're trying to get done, no. We need a country that's serious about Pan-Africanism. Serious about the diaspora and stuff like that. And Liberia is that country.
That's perfect, brother. So family, let's keep pushing this energy, and and family, as you see this beautiful 9-day tour highlight, I mean, the country has a lot to offer. It's just, it's just a lot of these sites are not as popular as a few other countries, but literally this is where we're starting from, and we're gonna build this energy. And when we get to these sites, we're gonna just do this beautiful videos of every single site, and then put more information out there. Brother, I think we've covered a whole lot as usual, and appreciate you being the Liberia expert, and you just connecting us and letting us know that this is a country we need to just really focus on, and
right.
so on. So family, visit our website, check out the details, reach out to us, and we can just we're gonna keep on working on this. As we mentioned to you, family, this is a foundation that we're building, so it's not a whole bunch of things that's just put together and so on, but what we have is the basic laid out to build a start and build an energy. And you've seen the tour highlight. Is there anything that we're missing on there?
I think everything is there as far as like
we got the Bola Forest National Park. I think that's one of the few things on there that you haven't been to.
No, I haven't. I didn't go to Robertsport either. You know, I haven't been to Robertsport either. I wanted to go up there, man, but the traffic, you know. The day I was gonna go, man, I was stuck in traffic, man, and I was like, "Oh, we can't go," you know.
Yeah, so we definitely have to plan these things out logistically, based on the days of how we're gonna move around.
Or on Robertsport, don't go on Don't try to go there on Saturday.
There you go.
But then again, check this out. They cleaned up Douala Market, so it might be better. You know, I saw some videos. Liberian cleaned up Douala Market. That means that they moved all the vendors inside these buildings. You know, and they're forcing them. You know, that's the whole thing apart about that. There's all these street vendors and stuff like that. You know, at Freeport. So they're cleaning that. The government is cleaning up. And they're cracking down. You know, and there's another thing. One last thing I want to say is this. Those of us coming from the West, we understand things like zoning, you know, zoning and districts and stuff like that. You cannot basically open up a fruit stand in the middle of everything, you know, clutter, you know what I'm saying? So Liberian government is cracking down like Nigeria did years ago, you know, and say, you can't do that. This is where you want to sell your stuff and everything. And people say, "Oh, you're discriminating me because I'm an indigenous."
You're trying to have an organized country.
You have an organized country. This is what that was the only conflict of Liberia. There's people that want an organized country, civilized country. There's people that just want anything. You know, there's the African way. No, the African way can't be, you know what I'm saying?
Chaotic. You know, I mean, we have to stop this chaotic operation of how we run nations.
We think, oh, it's Africa. No, so that doesn't matter, man. Why can't Africa be the country like a Wakanda, like Rwanda? Rwanda, Paul Kagame took all the street vendors off the streets. You know, took them off. You know, now the streets are sparkling clean. He said we don't need them. People rebelled against it. They fought against it, but now they see okay, that's better. People found other things to do rather than selling fruit on the street. You know, keep your goats and everything like that. We want a modern civilization. We want a modern society. You know, we're never gonna get there if we don't put our foot down and say, look, no, right. we want to clean our countries up. You know, we want to showcase our country to the world that we could be just as good as Amsterdam or London or any other place in the world. You know. And so, yeah, like I said, so then again, if they clean the streets up, the Douala Market, if it stays like that, then yeah, you can get to Robertsport on Saturday too, you know. But that was a day I tried to go up there, and it was like it was
a lot of traffic. Yeah, that's another thing too, man. We have too much traffic just everywhere now, so we have to definitely build better road infrastructure.
We need road infrastructure, man. Imagine if we have highways.
Also, you talk about railroads, and you talk about different public transport to cut down on certain traffic. These are all things that basically family create opportunities. So everything that we've ever mentioned.
And let me say this, brother Bomani,
for us as the people, right?
We in the diaspora, right? If they float a bond, right, the sovereign wealth bond, right? Let's say if I got some money in my 401k, whatever like that, if Monrovia and Sierra Leone floats a bond to build a sovereign wealth bond, right? To raise, let's say, $500 million to build a highway and a railway connecting Freetown and Monrovia, which is doable, right?
Yeah,
I'd buy a bond. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do it. The African countries don't realize the money we have in the West. They don't have to go to the IMF or the World Bank. You know, we can raise that money. You know, by buying bonds. You know, a 10-year bond. I'll put $5,000 in it, right? And we can raise that money overnight, right? And then we have our professionals manage the money, make sure all the stuff is spent right and everything, and how you pay for it back through tolls, through taxation and everything. Another thing about Africa, Africans don't like paying taxes. You know, Nigerians are complaining because they're talking about trying to tax Nigerians. Nigerian could raise billions of dollars if it taxes citizens. You know, instead of subsidizing the gas, it starts taxing its gases and whatnot. You know, taxing the citizens, taxing meals. You know, taxing everything. That's how we get the money in Africa. We have to have
Right.
We have to have a taxation system, you know.
Right.
And I don't mind paying taxes if I know roads and infrastructure being built, you know.
Exactly, that makes sense, right? And that's what we're telling people. Like some of the things that that goes on in this country in America, makes sense, and we may have to use some of those principles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why we live in America, because we understand how shit works. We pay our taxes, and taxes pay for infrastructure, you know. You know, all the money we have, we, like I said, man, we have the answers, man. You know, it's like I said, as more and more people see these videos in the coming year, by the time we get to Liberia next year in Bomani, we're going to be sitting down with powerful people. We're going to say we want to build a tourism thing. these are things we need to do. We need roads, we need this, and we're going to be able to influence African policy. You know, this is for the first time in our history where African Americans are going to have a direct role in the development of Africa. You know, why? Because we're going to say, you know, we want people to come here, and we got the dynasty in Sierra Leone who's bringing people over there to get their citizenship like that. You know, he could join us with Sierra Leone, and we could work together in these two countries and say, hey, look, you know, and once we have this secured, man, then launching into the rest of the continent, it won't be like we're just going strangers. We're part of this. We're part of these two countries that our ancestors built. You know, so that's how it is, folks.
Well, appreciate your brother Kala and family. Appreciate you joining us. And you know, check out our links and details, and we're gonna keep on building this thing up and coming strong. And I know the date shows 2023. That's because we're using the time to do what we need to do. So, family, once again, this is Bomani Tyehimba, and I'm here with my brother Kala Genesis, and we're gonna be pushing the Liberia Reconnection to the highest level. So take care, family, and just reach out to us if you have any questions, or you want to connect with us, or if you want more information about this incredible journey of a lifetime.
Right. And also, one last thing, you want to go on the trip, when Brian puts that there, he's going to have a payment plan, I believe, right? Where you could start, you could be able to start saving for it and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, it's always one of those things. You make a deposit and you pace yourself and things like that. Then once we write the general terms, people can also use that information as a way to just see how payment plans and things are laid out. So gonna be putting more articles on the website under the Liberia link for July 2023 and things like that. And you know, we can definitely on the next future calls we can talk about more of those things in details.
Yep. Yeah, future calls. So like I said, so we got a year and a half almost to plan this. And like I said, when we do this and all that, we're gonna have one big Pan-African. I'm gonna plan a big Pan-African revival there, you know. And I'll probably be the keynote speaker there, and we're gonna bring the house down, you know. You know, we're gonna play Marcus Garvey. We're gonna really celebrate the land of the return, the promised land, Liberia, you know, land of the pepper bird, you know, the promised land, you know. Mm-hmm. We're gonna say, yeah, you know, we may be down, but we're not out, you know, and we're gonna do diligence to our ancestors, J.J. Roberts and all these other people, what they believed in and what they visioned. Hillary Teague, you know, he said this is a land for the black man. Edward Wilmot Blyden said all the black man's answers are right here in these two countries, Liberia and Sierra Leone. He said everything the black man needs in the West is right here on these shores. That's what Edward Wilmot Blyden said, the father of Pan-Africanism. You know. So, all right, brother Bomani, let me go because I could talk all night. You know.
All right, family.
Y'all take care. Black power, peace. You know.